Big brother, please, kill me. Take my ashes back to China. That was the whisper that broke the world. When Ethan found the hidden lab beneath the Chimoto estate, he discovered a hell where stolen Chinese children were twisted into monsters. The plea from a dying boy, his humanity flickering in a sea of pain, shattered the last of Ethan's restraint. What followed was not a battle. It was a cleansing. He tore the earth asunder, slaughtered an entire clan down to its pets, and then, with a heart full of ice and grief, awakened Japan's sacred volcano, turning the sky to fire and ash. Now he is back. To the world, he's a young tycoon, a doting brother, a newly minted major general hiding secrets from his own family. But to the enemies who lurk in the shadows, a terrifying question remains. What happens when you realize the quiet young man you've just provoked is the very demon who made a mountain bleed? As Ethan assessed the ninjas, he concluded that their strongest was barely on par with a great grandmaster. They posed no threat to him at all. Continuing his search for Tomokazu Chimoto, he stumbled upon a horrifying discovery. A massive underground fortress, 50 meters deep, hidden beneath the family's backyard. It was a vast laboratory conducting unspeakable, anti-human experiments. Children, some as young as 5 or 6, were being forcibly injected with various genetic agents. Some had already begun to take on animalistic features, barely recognizable as human. But what finally shattered Ethan's control was the sound of a small boy crying out in perfect Mandarin, "Mommy, it hurts." In that instant, Ethan snapped. He summoned his flying sword and, with a roar of pure fury, cleaved the ground open, creating a massive fissure that led directly into the fortress below. Ignoring the blaring alarms that now echoed across the entire estate, he charged in, his eyes shot with blood. He was a god of death incarnate. The ordinary staff members were slaughtered in an instant. He rushed to the children's side, and as his sword cut through the chains that bound them, a squad of ninjas materialized, surrounding him. He looked at them as if they were already dead. Just as he was about to attack, Tomokazu Chimoto emerged from behind them, a mocking smirk on his face. "You foolish Chinaman. Did you really think I wouldn't be prepared for you? Don't worry, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to make you one of my experiments. You will be the vanguard when my country attacks China. Isn't that exciting?" Ethan gritted his teeth, his voice a low, raw growl. "Are these children all from China?" Chimoto laughed maniacally. "That's right. I had my men adopt them from orphanages all over your country. Bought some from your human traffickers, too. They will become our fiercest warriors. Now kill him." But it wasn't the ninjas who attacked first. It was the children Ethan had just freed. Their eyes were blood-red and vacant. They had lost their minds, turned into nothing more than puppets. The sight filled Ethan with an agony beyond words. The little boy who had cried for his mother, seemingly new to this hell, had a moment of clarity. He looked at Ethan, his body racked with pain, and whispered, "Big brother, please. Kill me. I can't control myself. If you can, please take my ashes back. Back to China." The last thread of Ethan's restraint broke. With a wave of his arm, he sent out a pulse of energy that knocked the children unconscious, then swiftly moved them into his system space. When he turned back, his eyes were those of a demon from the deepest pits of hell, radiating a bloodlust that seemed to make the very air tremble. A sharp warning sounded in his mind. "Warning! Warning! Host, regain clarity immediately, or you will become a mindless tool of slaughter." Ethan didn't even pause. "Slaughter? A tool? I don't care," he muttered. "I only know that I must exterminate these animals. Even if I am cursed for eternity, my actions will ensure the prosperity of our children for generations to come." And then he moved. He was a phantom of vengeance, his blade a blur of silver and red. The screams of the Chimoto clan were a symphony of terror. His attacks grew ever more ferocious, each strike fueled by bottomless hatred. Tomokazu Chimoto's face paled as he realized his forces were being annihilated. Suddenly, Ethan's speed increased, and he appeared directly in front of Chimoto, his sword plunging forward, piercing through the man's throat before he could even register what was happening. When Ethan finally stopped, all that was left was a ruin filled with corpses. The entire Chimoto clan, down to their pets, had been exterminated. He walked back to the underground fortress and began to gently gather the bodies and bones of the Chinese children, placing them carefully into his system space. With each one, the grief in his heart deepened. "Children," he whispered, tears streaming down his face. "Brother is taking you home, back to China." With his grim task complete, he ascended on his flying sword. He looked down at the Chimoto estate, now consumed by fire, and felt nothing but cold satisfaction. Driven by a burning rage, he flew towards Japan's sacred mountain. At the volcano's crater, he unleashed a full-power strike from his sword, then emptied his remaining Thunderfire pills into the molten depths. With that, he entered his system space and returned to his home in Tianjin. In Japan, the sacred mountain erupted with cataclysmic force. Rivers of lava flowed down its slopes, turning the sky red and choking the air with ash. It was a scene from the apocalypse. Back in his system space, Ethan ignored the catastrophe he had unleashed. He gazed at the 27 unconscious children who had survived. System, he asked, how many points to restore these children to normal and completely erase their memories of Japan? The system replied instantly. To meet your conditions will require 20 million points. Additionally, I strongly recommend you spend 100 million points to clear your own negative mental and emotional state. The consequences of letting it fester could be severe. Ethan agreed without hesitation. He spent the 120 million points. The children were healed, and their horrific memories erased. He himself felt a great weight lift from his soul, his state of mind elevated and clear once more. He returned to the real world and immediately called Director Zhong. Director, I have something extremely important to discuss. Are you free to meet? The gravity in Ethan's voice was unmistakable. I'm on my way back to my office now, Zhong said. Meet me there. Ethan flew to Beijing and arrived before the director. He made himself at home, brewing a pot of the director's prized Hong Pao tea. 20 minutes later, Zhong burst in, breathless. He saw Ethan sipping his tea and immediately snatched the canister away. Of all the tea I have, you have to drink the one from number 1 himself. What a waste. Now, what was so urgent? Ethan took a deep breath and told him everything. By the end, Director Zhong's face was purple with rage, his fists clenched so tight his knuckles were white. The damned Chimoto clan, he roared. How dare they treat the future of our country so cruelly? I wish I could tear them limb from limb myself. You did well, Ethan. You did well to kill every last one of those bastards. After calming himself, he asked, where are the children? With a wave of his hand, Ethan brought the 27 children into the spacious office. These are the only survivors, he said grimly. I also have the remains of 375 others. I used a special method to make these survivors forget everything that happened. Zhong nodded. It's better they forget. What are your thoughts on what to do with them? Most are orphans, Ethan said. Some were kidnapped. We should try to find the parents of the kidnapped ones. As for the orphans, they should stay with the 9th Bureau. I've noticed they all have a talent for cultivation. It's likely why they survived. Ethan then gently woke the children with a pulse of spiritual energy, while Zhong arranged for his people to begin searching for any living relatives. Director Zhong led Ethan to a large, empty warehouse. Ethan began to carefully lay out the remains of the 375 children on blankets spread across the floor. Director, he said, his voice hard as steel, we need to use their DNA to identify every single one of them. We need to find out who posed as adoptive parents and which traffickers sold them to the Japanese. When we find them, they must be charged with treason and punished without mercy. Rest assured, Zhong said, his face a grim mask. I will hunt them down. No one who betrays their country and their conscience for money will escape justice. Back in the office, Zhong asked, is there anything else? Actually, yes, Ethan said. I own a pharmaceutical factory in Tianjin. We have 3 new miracle drugs ready for clinical trials. I was hoping you could help me expedite the process to get them to the people of China. Zhong was cautious. What kind of drugs are they? Your own research. Treatments for diabetes, heart disease, and most types of cancer, Ethan explained. The formulas are mine. I can guarantee their efficacy. The approval process is strict, Ethan, Zhong said after a pause. But I can make some introductions to speed things up, provided your drugs pass every test. Of course, Ethan agreed. If they pass the trials, he added, I will provide them to the people of China at the lowest possible price. Now, if you'll excuse me, I should get going. Wait, Zhong said, stopping him. Number 1 mentioned wanting to see you. You should probably stay in Beijing for the next couple of days. I'll contact you if he calls. After leaving the 9th Bureau, Ethan decided to buy a property nearby to use as a teleportation point. He called his friend, Peter Zhao. Peter, where are you? Shanghai or Beijing? Ethan. Peter's voice was full of excitement. I'm in Beijing. There's a supercar race on, so I came back for it. Are you in Shanghai? I'm in Beijing too, actually. No way. Where are you? I'll come pick you up. After Ethan sent his location, a stunning Apollo IE supercar roared up 20 minutes later. What do you think? Peter said, grinning from the driver's seat. Took everything I had to get my hands on this beauty. Looks like you came into some money, Ethan laughed. My dad bought it for me, Peter said sheepishly. He wanted to thank you. He made a fortune when our family followed your lead to move against the Chu and Han families. The mention of those families reminded Ethan that he needed to collect on their debts. But first, he needed a place to stay. Peter, do you know of any good houses for sale around here? Why buy one? Peter said immediately. I've got a 2-courtyard house not far from here. It's a little small, but if you like it, it's yours. The house was small but beautifully laid out and in a pleasant area. It was perfect. I can't take it for free, Ethan insisted. After some back and forth, they agreed on a price, and Ethan transferred the money on the spot. Welcome home, brother, Peter said, clapping him on the back. This is your base in Beijing now. Ethan knew the price Peter had given him was far too low. He needed to make it up to him. Remembering Peter's desire for 1,000-year ginseng, but knowing his friend lacked any real talent for cultivation, Ethan decided on a different approach. He took out a marrow-cleansing pill. Swallow this, he said. It will improve your constitution. It won't make you a top-tier martial artist, but it will guarantee you a very active nightlife for years to come. Peter's eyes lit up, and he swallowed the pill without a second thought. An intense heat erupted in his body, followed by an excruciating, bone-deep pain. He gritted his teeth, trusting that Ethan wouldn't harm him. Just as he felt he couldn't take it anymore, the pain vanished, replaced by a feeling of incredible clarity and strength. Before he could celebrate, a foul stench rising from his own body made him gag. After a quick shower, Peter emerged looking and feeling like a new man. Ethan, that pill is incredible. I feel like I could punch a bull into next week. Just as Ethan was about to reply, his phone rang. It was Director Zhong. Director, Ethan said. Is this the call I've been waiting for? You guessed it, Zhong's voice was tense. Get to the Dragon residence immediately. Don't keep number one waiting. He's a very busy man. The Dragon residence. The very heart of Chinese power. Peter's eyes went wide. You're not joking? The Dragon residence? You can't just go there. Hurry up, Ethan said, giving him a look. Number one is waiting for me. That snapped Peter out of his shock. He floored the accelerator, and the Apollo IE shot through the streets, arriving at their destination in under 10 minutes. Okay, you go on in, Peter whispered, already sweating. I'm getting out of here before the guards arrest me for loitering. Ethan laughed. Go on, I'll call you when I'm done. After a thorough security check, Ethan was led down a long corridor to an office where Director Zhong was pacing nervously. After one final check, Zhong pulled Ethan into number one's office. The room was shockingly simple. A worn desk, a few frayed chairs, a scratched filing cabinet. Sitting at the desk was the man Ethan had seen on television countless times, his face etched with the fatigue of immense responsibility. Number one looked up, his expression warm and kind. Comrade Ethan, please sit down. I've heard a great deal about you from Director Zhong. It's a pleasure to finally meet the young man behind the stories. The leader's simple humility instantly put Ethan at ease. You flatter me, sir. Compared to you, I have done very little. Number one stood and walked to the window. Director Zhong has told me everything that happened in Japan, he said, his voice hardening. You did exceptionally well. Do they truly believe that China is still the weak nation they bullied a century ago? This matter is far from over. They are a snake in the grass, Ethan agreed. Their ambition has never faded. If they ever see an opportunity, they will strike at China again. Number one looked at Ethan with deep appreciation. The nation sees everything you have done for China, Ethan. However, for a variety of reasons, your deeds cannot be made public. Therefore, I have decided to award you the rank of Major General in recognition of your outstanding contributions. Ethan was stunned, then deeply moved. He knew the weight of this honor and the responsibility that came with it. Thank you for your trust, sir, he said, snapping to attention and giving number one a perfect military salute. I have work to do, so I won't keep you, number one said with a smile. As he turned to leave, Ethan acted on impulse. He redeemed a bottle of longevity pills from the system and placed it on the desk. Sir, this is a bottle of longevity pills. There are 5, and each one will extend a person's life by 5 years. Please accept this small token of my respect. China still needs you to lead us forward. Before number one could refuse, Ethan quickly pulled Director Zhong out of the room. Inside the office, number one stared at the bottle. Old M.O., he said quietly. What do you make of this young man? A white-haired old man with the face of a child materialized in the room. It was M.O. Wuxing, the legendary Golden Corps Master of the Ninth Bureau. You already know the answer, number one, he said with a smile. He is truly remarkable. He sensed my presence the moment he arrived. For someone so young to possess strength rivaling my own, it is a great fortune for China. Indeed, number one agreed. He seems to have some secrets, however, M.O. Wuxing added. I tried to probe him with my spiritual sense, but was blocked by a mysterious force. As long as his heart is with China, that is all that matters, number one said, pushing the bottle of pills toward him. Take these. Give them to our old friends. Their time is short, and this will allow them to guard China a while longer. Outside, Director Zhong looked at Ethan with envy. You lucky dog. It took me a lifetime to make Major General, and you're already my equal. Say, could I have one of those longevity pills? Director, you're in the prime of your life. What do you need one for? You don't know number one, Zhong said with a sigh. He won't take a single one for himself. He'll give them all away. I wanted one to save for him, just in case. Touched by the director's loyalty, Ethan redeemed 2 more bottles and tossed them to him. My mistake. Give these to him for me. Back at the courtyard house, Ethan set up a new teleportation point, then called Peter, who was at a small nearby shop eating luju, a traditional Beijing stew. Ethan joined him and found the rich, savory dish surprisingly delicious. Hear any interesting rumors lately? Ethan asked casually. Well, Peter said, his eyes lighting up. There is a legend about a hidden treasure at the peak of the Kunlun Mountains. They say it's full of priceless artifacts and secret manuals. Ethan's expression didn't change, but his mind raced. The peak of the Kunlun Mountains was the entrance to the spirit world, a secret known only to cultivators. Ethan's face was grim, his eyes sharp as he stared at Peter. "Where did you hear this?" he asked, his voice low. Peter was taken aback by his friend's intensity. "I heard it from a girl at a bar the other night," he stammered. "She was a real knockout, but I never saw her again after that night." Ethan's mind raced. How could a secret of the cultivation world have reached the ears of a normal person like Peter? Was someone trying to use him to pass a message to his family, or to Ethan himself? "Peter," he said sternly, "you are not to repeat this to anyone, and you are not to go anywhere near the Kunlun Mountains. It's not a place for you." "Don't worry, Ethan," Peter said with a nervous laugh. "I'm not interested in any of that stuff. Just give me women and wine." Relieved, Ethan changed the subject. "When you're done eating, you need to take me to the Chu family's estate. I don't know my way around Beijing." Peter nearly choked on his stew. "Are you going to crash their party? Do you need me to round up some guys? The Chu family is huge, you can't just—" "What is wrong with you?" Ethan said, rolling his eyes. "I'm a good citizen. I'm not crashing anything. I'm simply going to collect a debt. Of course, if they refuse to pay, things might get physical." Peter's eyes lit up. He quickly scarfed down the rest of his food. "Let's go? I can't wait to see the look on Old Man Chu's face when he sees you." As they drove, Peter asked, "So, what kind of debt are we talking about?" A small smile played on Ethan's lips. "When the Chu and Han families acquired Universal Group, they fell into a little trap I set. Now, each of them owes me 880 billion yuan. Peter's jaw dropped. No wonder they've been frantically selling off their assets. Serves them right. At the gate of the magnificent Chu estate, a butler recognized Peter and asked his business. "Go tell your master that my friend Ethan is here to collect a debt," Peter announced grandly. The butler paled at the mention of Ethan's name and quickly ushered them inside. The estate was a stunning, sprawling courtyard house. "This place is incredible," Ethan remarked. "Puts the one you sold me to shame." "Of course it does," Peter said. "This used to be the mansion of a first-rank official in the Qing dynasty. Mine was just a nice house." "Just a first-rank official?" Ethan asked, surprised. "I would have guessed it belonged to a prince." "A real prince's mansion is on a whole other level," Peter explained. "But you can't buy those anymore. Most have been turned into tourist sites. Owning a place like this is the best you can do." Meanwhile, in the main hall, Caspian Chu and Franklin Han were in deep, worried conversation. "Caspian, have you heard? Felix Liu has disappeared. I think he's met with a foul end. I'm afraid if we don't pay our debt, we'll be next." Franklin fretted. "I've been selling off assets left and right," Caspian said with a sigh. "I was thinking of just giving the Universal Group shares back to Ethan. Maybe he'll forgive us." "It's our only choice," Franklin agreed. Just then, a frantic butler burst in. "Masters, Peter Zhao is here with Ethan Yi. They say they've come to collect a debt." The two patriarchs shot to their feet, their faces masks of terror. They hurried out to the garden, where they found Ethan and Peter admiring the koi pond. "Mr. Yi," Caspian said, forcing a smile. "What an honor. Please, come inside." In the reception hall, after tea was served, Ethan got straight to the point. "I assume you know why I'm here. Have you prepared the money you owe me?" Caspian jumped to his feet. "Mr. Yi, the Chu family has gathered the full amount. I will have it transferred to your account immediately. Please, forgive our past transgressions." "The Han family is also prepared," Franklin added quickly. Ethan just smiled. "Gentlemen, you are both seasoned businessmen. You know that simply repaying a debt isn't enough to earn forgiveness. You need to show your sincerity." Caspian understood immediately. He produced 2 share transfer agreements. "Mr. Yi, these are the Universal Group shares. We feel we are not equipped to manage such a large enterprise. We humbly ask you to take back control." Ethan took the agreements and glanced at them. It was the full 44% stake from each family. A flicker of a smile crossed his face. "Gentlemen, I am not a man who takes things without payment. I will buy these shares from you. For 1 yuan. He turned to Peter and held out his hand. Peter, confused, gave him 2 50-cent coins. Ethan then handed 1 coin to each of the patriarchs. Their faces turned a deep, humiliated red. They had intended to give him the shares for free to appease him. This was a calculated insult. But they were powerless. They took the coins, their hands trembling with suppressed rage. Peter couldn't hold it in any longer and burst out laughing. "Ethan, you're a genius. 50 cents each. I don't think even a beggar would accept that these days." The faces of Caspian Chu and Franklin Han darkened, but they forced themselves to smile. "Thank you for your generosity, Mr. Yi," they mumbled. As Ethan and Peter were leaving, Ethan paused at the door. "Gentlemen, don't celebrate just yet. We're not done here." He left them standing there, frozen in dread. As soon as they were in the car, Ethan's phone rang. It was Shadow One, the guard he had assigned to his mother. "Master, I've noticed Jason Wong has been secretly following the old madam. I fear he may intend to harm her. Should I eliminate him?" "Don't act yet," Ethan said after a moment's thought. "Just ensure my mother's safety. I'll handle it when I return to Tianjin." He turned to Peter. "Something's come up. Take me back to the courtyard house." After Peter dropped him off, Ethan didn't go inside. He used the system space to teleport instantly to his family's villa in Tianjin. His spiritual sense swept the area. His mother was inside, watching TV, and parked just outside the residential complex was a silver van. Inside was Jason Wang. Ethan scanned the van and saw ropes and an axe. Jason was planning to kidnap his own aunt to use as leverage against him. A humorless smile touched Ethan's lips. The boy was digging his own grave. He decided to wait and see what Jason would do. After a while, when nothing happened, Ethan entered the villa, pretending he had just arrived. His mother was happy to see him. "Where have you been the last 2 days?" she asked. "I had some business in Beijing," he said, grabbing an apple. "Mom, has Jason Wang been by to see you?" "No. Thank goodness," she said with a sigh. "He's called a few times, but I haven't answered." "What?" "I saw him lurking outside in a van when I came in," Ethan said grimly. "I'm worried he's planning something." She shook her head. "That's not possible. I'm his aunt. He's a spoiled brat, but I can't believe he would harm me." Seeing her disbelief, Ethan waved his hand, and Shadow One materialized in the room. His mother jumped in fright. "Mom, don't be afraid," Ethan said calmly. "This is Shadow One, your bodyguard. Dad has one too, Shadow Two. Shadow One, tell my mother what you've observed." In a flat, emotionless voice, the guard recounted Jason's stalking behavior and his purchase of ropes, knives, and an axe. Ethan looked at his mother. "Mom, if he really tries something, will you be able to forgive him?" Her eyes hardened. "Ethan, if he dares, I will not show him any mercy this time." As night fell, Ethan sensed Jason sneaking into the villa complex, heading for their house. He turned to his mother. "He's here, Mom. Let's put on a little show, so you can see his true colors. Don't worry, you won't be in any danger. Are you carrying the talisman Owen gave you?" She touched her pocket. "Yes. What exactly does it do?" "We can talk about that later," Ethan said as he saw Jason climbing through a window. "I need to hide." He vanished, reappearing in his room upstairs, his spiritual sense closely monitoring every move below. Jason crept into the living room, his heart pounding. He tiptoed up behind his aunt, who was sitting on the sofa, and held a knife to her throat. "Don't move, Auntie," he hissed, quickly tying her up with a rope. Even though she had been warned, May felt a sharp, agonizing pain in her heart. "Jason, I'm your aunt. After your father died, how have I treated you? Have you forgotten everything?" she cried. "Don't give me that," he sneered. "I just wanted to borrow a house. You're so rich, what's one villa to you? Don't forget, I'm the eldest grandson of the Wang family." "Jason, please stop this," she sobbed. "Let's just pretend this never happened." "Pretend it never happened?" he roared. "That bastard son of yours not only sent my mother to jail, he ruined me. All my projects have been canceled, and now I have to pay a huge penalty. He's trying to kill me." He took a photo of his captive aunt and sent it to Ethan with a voice message. "Ethan, I have your mother. You have 10 minutes to transfer 1 billion to my account, and my mother better be released by noon tomorrow, or else." Just then, the front door opened, and Evan Yi walked in. He froze, stunned by the scene before him. "Jason, what are you doing? Let your aunt go. We can talk about this." "There's nothing to talk about," Jason shrieked. "I want my money." Seeing his cousin's true face, Ethan decided the show was over. He walked down the stairs. "Shadow One, Shadow Two, take him." 2 black blurs appeared out of nowhere. Before Jason could react, 2 powerful punches sent him flying across the room, slamming him into a wall. He lay there, crumpled and broken, staring in terror at Ethan descending the stairs. He scrambled over to his aunt, who had been untied by Shadow Two. "Auntie," he wept. "I was confused. I made a mistake. Please, for the sake of family, forgive me this one time." May just gave him a single, cold glance and turned away. "Ethan," she said, her voice weary, "I'm tired. I'm going to my room. You handle this." She walked upstairs without a backward glance. Jason then turned to his uncle, begging for mercy. But before Evan could speak, Ethan said, "Dad, you should go check on Mom. I'll take care of this." Realizing that begging was useless, Jason's fear turned to defiance. He glared at Ethan, a crazed look in his eyes. "Go on, Ethan. I lost today, but do you have the guts to kill me? Don't forget, I'm your mother's nephew. If I die here today, she might not say anything, but it will create a rift between you two that will never heal." Ethan knew his mother's sentimental nature. Killing Jason would indeed cast a permanent shadow over their relationship. "Don't worry, Jason. I'm not going to kill you," Ethan said, a cruel smile playing on his lips. "But you are going to spend the rest of your life in prison. Imagine how Fiona will feel when she finds out you're locked up forever. Do you think she'll have a complete mental breakdown?" Jason's eyes bulged with fury. "Ethan, if you dare touch my mother, I'll haunt you as a ghost." Ethan ignored his threats and calmly called the police. A few minutes later, the same 2 officers from before arrived. "We meet again," Ethan said with a smile. "It seems this is our beat," the older officer said. "Where's the suspect?" Ethan pointed to the whimpering heap on the floor. The young officer cuffed Jason and hauled him to his feet. "Isn't this Fiona Lee's son?" the old officer mused. "Mr. Yi, This family certainly seems determined to cause you trouble. We'll take him in. I'll let you know what the outcome is. As the police car drove away, Ethan shook his head. He knew his mother would be upset, so he decided to give her some space and went to his room. The next morning, he found her in the kitchen preparing breakfast. She was smiling, and he felt a wave of relief. "Morning, Mom," he said, grabbing a piece of fried dough. "Don't worry about yesterday. Some people are just ungrateful." "I'm not that fragile, son," she said, sipping her soy milk. "But you should go back to Shanghai after breakfast. Your sister Elaine is there all by herself. I'm a little worried about her. Keep an eye on her for me." "Don't worry, Mom. I'll take care of her," he said. After breakfast, he used the system space to teleport back to his villa in Shanghai, then drove to the Universal Group building. He scanned the building with his spiritual sense, but didn't find Luna Shan. He realized he hadn't told her he had gotten the company back. He sent her a quick text. Her reply was immediate. "Be there in 20. While he waited, he chatted with the security guard. "Chairman Yi, it's good to see you, sir. Things haven't been the same since you left. My salary got cut." "Don't worry, I'm back now," Ethan said, clapping him on the shoulder. "Things are going to get better." Just then, a red sports car pulled up, and Luna Shan got out, looking stunning in a power suit. "Welcome back, CEO Shan," Ethan said with a grin. "Thank you, Ethan," she replied, a small smile playing on her lips. "But I'd rather you call me Luna." Seeing Luna's confidence, Ethan felt a sense of relief. "Luna, how are things progressing with the charitable foundation I mentioned?" he asked. "Everything is ready to go," she replied with a smile. "We're just waiting for the initial funding to be transferred." "Excellent," he said. "Go ahead and make the first deposit and hire some people to manage it for now. I'll find a permanent director myself once I've dealt with a few things." "Of course. What will be the foundation's primary focus?" she asked. Ethan gazed out the window. "A few days ago, I met some military veterans who were living in poverty. It was deeply moving. Our first project will be a veterans care initiative dedicated to giving back to all those who have served our country. I have a few other things to attend to, so I'll leave Universal Group in your capable hands. If you need anything, don't hesitate to call. You can also reach out to Hudson Yi for help. He's been doing a great job in Hong Kong." With that, he departed. Ethan sent a text to Nina and then drove towards Shanghai University. He found her waiting for him outside the dormitory. "Why are you waiting out here?" he asked, hurrying over. "I could have just called you when I got here." "I just wanted to see you sooner," she said with a sweet smile. "Have you had lunch? We could go to the cafeteria." As they walked, he asked, "Have you seen my sister, Elaine, these last couple of days? She's been completely off the grid since she got here." "I haven't seen her either," Nina said. "But you know her. She's probably found something fun to do and lost track of time." They had just sat down in the cafeteria when Ethan's phone rang. It was an unknown number. "Hello, brother. It's me, Elaine," she chirped on the other end. "You little rascal, where have you been?" he asked, relieved. "It's the beginning of the semester. I've made a bunch of new friends," she explained. "I stopped by the villa a couple of days ago, but Bianca said you hadn't been back, so I just went back to my dorm." "Well, are you on campus now? Nina and I are in the main cafeteria. Want to join us for lunch?" "Since you asked so nicely," she said playfully, "I guess I'll grace you with my presence. Be there in 5. After he hung up, Nina teased him. "Are you really going to make your little sister buy you lunch? She might just run away again. If she runs, I'll break her legs," he joked. A few minutes later, Elaine burst into the cafeteria. After a flurry of greetings, Nina went to get their food while Ethan chatted with his sister. "Are you settling in okay? No one's giving you any trouble?" he asked. "Please, I'm Elaine Yi." "Who would dare?" she said proudly. Just as Nina returned with their food, 2 stylishly dressed girls walked up to their table. "Elaine," one of them said, "young Master Zhang is inviting us to the Shanghai Supercar Club tonight. He specifically asked us to invite you. Do you want to come?" Elaine looked at her brother uncertainly. "Can I go?" Ethan looked at the 2 girls. "Are you her classmates? Or her roommates?" The short-haired girl spoke up. "We're her roommates. I'm Fifi Wu, and this is Tina Chung." Elaine's brother, Tina, added eagerly. "Not just anyone can get into the Supercar Club. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. All the rich kids in Shanghai will be there. It's a great chance to network." A small, ironic smile played on Ethan's lips. "Young Master Zhang? I don't recall any prominent families in Shanghai with that name." Tina mentally cursed him. What would this poor loser who eats in the cafeteria know about prominent families? If it weren't for the 100,000 yuan reward young Master Zhang had promised for bringing Elaine, she wouldn't have wasted her breath on him. "You might not have heard of him," she said sweetly, "but he's the heir to the Lida Group. His family is worth billions. Don't worry, we'll be there to make sure no one bullies Elaine." Ethan just gave her a contemptuous look. He turned to his sister. "If you want to go, then go." "Brother," she wheedled, "I've never seen a supercar race in person. Please, I'll just watch for a little while and come right back." He waved his hand in resignation, and she left with her roommates, ecstatic. "Ethan," Nina said, worried. It was obvious those 2 have bad intentions. "How could you just let her go with them?" "You know Elaine," he said with a weary smile. "The more you try to stop her from doing something, the more she wants to do it." Sometimes, the only way for her to learn is to let her make her own mistakes. But aren't you worried she'll get hurt? Nina pressed. Don't worry, he reassured her. I have bodyguards watching her. Besides, there's nothing stopping us from going ourselves to keep an eye on things. That evening, Ethan and Nina pulled up to the supercar club in his Bugatti Night Spirit. The car, one of a kind in Shanghai, immediately drew a crowd of admirers. They ignored the whispers and made their way to the viewing platform. On the track below, a dozen supercars revved their engines. The light turned green, and they shot off the line. The race was a blur of speed and precision, the drivers pushing their machines to the limit. The crowd roared with every daring overtake. In a series of tight curves, a red Lykan Hypersport surged ahead, leaving the rest of the pack in its dust. It handled the turns with impossible grace, its speed seemingly limitless. The other drivers fought hard to catch up on the straightaways, but the red car was simply in a league of its own, crossing the finish line a full car length ahead of the runner-up. Nina grabbed Ethan's arm, her eyes shining with excitement. Your driving is amazing, Ethan. You should go out there and race them. You'd win for sure. He just shook his head. It wouldn't be a fair fight. The driver of the red Lykan emerged and walked over to the second-place car, a Lamborghini Veneno. Lianqi, long time no see. Your skills have improved. Lianqi Yang sighed and tossed him the keys. A bet's a bet, Lang. The car is yours. Lang Qin caught the keys with a grin. Spoken like a true son of the Shenzhen Yang family. Come on, I've got a banquet set up inside. Let's have a few drinks. As Lang Qin and his group headed into the clubhouse, the rest of the crowd followed. Ethan saw Elaine and her two roommates walking towards the banquet hall as well, so he took Nina's hand, and they fell in behind the crowd. The hall was lavishly decorated, with several priceless cars on display. Young, fashionable men and women mingled, admiring the cars and each other. Ethan got some food and juice, and he and Nina found a quiet corner from which to observe his sister. Lang Qin and Lianqi Yang were the centers of attention, surrounded by a crowd of sycophants. When the crowd finally thinned, Lianqi leaned in and spoke to Lang in a low voice. I heard the Chu and Han families both got crushed by Universal Group. With your family's connections, you must know the inside story. Thinking of moving into the Shanghai market, are you? Lang said with a smirk. All right, I'll tell you. The real boss behind Universal Group is a man named Ethan Yi. Ethan Yi? Lianqi murmured. I've never heard of a prominent Yi family in Shanghai. Is he from the Lingnan Yi clan? Lang laughed. No connection. But the amount of capital he controls is staggering. Even my family can't compare. Money alone wouldn't be enough to make families like the Chus and the Hans fold so easily, Lianqi mused. Does he have some powerful backer? Lang topped off Lianqi's glass. Finish this, and I'll tell you. Lianqi downed the wine in one gulp. All right, I'm done. Now spill. As it happens, Ethan is a good friend of my cousin's, Lang said, finally satisfied. So my brother and I are on good terms with him. I don't know much about his background, but I suspect he comes from one of the hidden ancient families. His own cultivation level is also incredibly high, and he holds the position of Inspector General for the 9th Bureau. Lianqi was speechless. To hold that position, one had to be at least a great grandmaster, and the power that came with the title was immense. Lang, Brother Lang, he said, his tone completely changed. Do you think you could introduce me? Of course, Lang said with a smug smile. I'll have my cousin get in touch with him. They're closer. You mean Lian Zhao? Lianqi asked. Lang roared with laughter. No, you've got the wrong cousin. It's that little punk Peter Zhao. Can you believe it? Lianqi just shook his head. I never would have guessed. That profligate son somehow managed to befriend a man like Mr. Yi. I guess everyone has their own destiny. At another table, Elaine was hesitating over a glass of red wine her roommates were urging her to try. Come on, Elaine, Fifi said. It's a bottle of Petit Lafite. It's not the Grand Vin, but it's still over 5,000 a bottle. You have to try it. Yeah, Tina chimed in. You need to learn to drink for when you get a job. It's important for business. Elaine had never tasted alcohol and was a bit reluctant. Just then, a handsome young man approached with a glass of orange juice. If you don't like wine, maybe you'd prefer this, he said, his eyes fixed on her. Gratefully, she accepted the juice. Thank you, Sean. I really don't drink. I'd be so embarrassed if I got drunk. Tina simpered at the young man. Young Master Zhang, you're so thoughtful. Have you taken a liking to our Elaine? Elaine, Fifi added. Young Master Zhang is so handsome, and he's the heir to the Lita group. You should consider going out with him. Imagine all the designer bags and jewelry he'd buy you. Sean puffed out his chest and said to Elaine, You don't have a boyfriend, do you? Why don't we give it a try? If you say yes, I'll break up with my current girlfriend right now and be completely devoted to you. Any small amount of goodwill Elaine might have had for him vanished instantly. He already had a girlfriend and was hitting on her. Disgusted, she handed the orange juice back to him. Sorry, I'm not interested in a relationship right now. On second thought, I think I will try the wine. His face fell. Suit yourself, he muttered, shooting a look at Fifi and Tina before stalking off. Don't be mad, Elaine, Fifi said soothingly. He really is a great catch. And all rich guys are like that. What's the harm in having a little fun and getting some nice things out of it? I don't care what you think. Elaine snapped. I'm not interested in his money. If I wanted something, my brother would buy it for me. Fifi scoffed internally. Her poor brother, who took his girlfriend to the cafeteria? Right. As soon as she got Elaine into bed with Sean, she'd see how long this innocent act lasted. Elaine took a sip of the wine. It was tart at first, but then a rich, complex flavor unfolded on her tongue. It was surprisingly pleasant. See, Tina said, refilling her glass. It's not so bad. My brother has a huge wine collection at home. I should sneak a couple of bottles out sometime. As she poured, Tina discreetly dropped a small white pill into Elaine's glass. It dissolved instantly. The entire act, however, was observed by Ethan's spiritual sense. He stood up and walked over to their table. Seeing him approach, Elaine quickly put her glass down like a child caught with her hand in the cookie jar. Brother, what are you and Nina doing here? So, your wings have grown, have they? He said, his face stern. Drinking, are we? Maybe I should join you. No, she said, shaking her head frantically. I was just curious. I only had a little sip. Please don't tell Mom. Tina, seeing her plan about to be foiled, put on a sweet smile. Elaine's brother, don't misunderstand. We're just tasting. We would never let her get drunk. We're her roommates. We'd never do anything to hurt her. It's because you're here that I'm not at ease, Ethan said, his voice dropping to an icy chill. I know exactly what you're planning. He picked up Elaine's wine glass and held it out to Tina. Drink it, now, or you'll face the consequences. A cold dread washed over Tina. She took the glass, her hand trembling, and glanced desperately towards Sean. Sean swaggered over to Ethan. Hey, you don't look like you belong here. If you weren't invited, you'd better get lost before you get hurt. The president of this club is the famous Lang Qin. No one in Shanghai dares to mess with him. Ethan looked at him with disdain. The last fools who tried to use Lang Qin's name to intimidate him were Richie Wong and Max Wu. You're the one who has designs on my sister, aren't you? Ethan said calmly. And you put these two up to drugging her drink. Brother, Elaine gasped, horrified. They drugged my wine. If they didn't, Ethan said, his eyes fixed on Tina, then why won't your good roommate drink it? Elaine whirled on them, her eyes blazing with fury. I thought you were my friends. How could you do this to me? With Sean now by her side, Tina's courage returned. Friends? She sneered. Don't flatter yourself. If young Master Zhang hadn't taken an interest in you, who would even bother with you? Yeah, Fifi chimed in. Look at you. You've got a pretty face, but that's it. No chest, no butt. And you wore jeans to a supercar club. You have no class. The commotion had attracted Lang Qin's attention. He and Lian Qiang made their way through the crowd, which parted for them like the Red Sea. Because Ethan's back was to him, Lang didn't see him at first, but he recognized his sister. Elaine, I didn't know you were coming tonight. If your brother finds out you were here and I didn't take good care of you, he'll have my head. Is he in Shanghai or Beijing these days? Distraught, Elaine just pointed. He's right there, Brother Lang. He's the one who hit that guy on the floor. Lang finally saw who she was pointing at. Ethan, what's going on? Did this punk offend you? Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Brother Lang, Ethan said, his voice dangerously quiet. It seems I have bad luck with your club. Every time I run into trouble, it's with one of your members. Lang's face paled. My apologies, Ethan. I'll give you a satisfactory explanation. He ordered his men to drag Sean away for interrogation. Fifi and Tina, realizing the terrifying truth that this girl they had looked down on was on a first-name basis with the powerful Lang Qin, and that her brother commanded his respect, fell to their knees. Elaine, we're so sorry, they wailed. It was all Sean. He forced us. He threatened to post naked pictures of us online if we didn't do what he said. We had no choice. Seeing their tears, Elaine's anger began to soften into pity. She looked to her brother, unsure of what to do. He sighed. She was just like their mother, too soft-hearted. It seemed he would have to be the bad guy. The two of you will pack your things, withdraw from the university, and leave Shanghai tomorrow, he said, his voice devoid of all emotion. You will never appear before my sister again. Or I will personally arrange for you to spend the rest of your lives digging potatoes in Siberia. Or perhaps you prefer Myanmar? The threat hung in the air, heavy and absolute. The two girls, their faces ashen, knew they had no choice. Not long after, Lang Qin's men returned and reported their findings. Enraged, Lang roared, Go and break both of that bastard Sean Zhang's legs. Then tell his family to bring half of their assets to ransom him. He turned to Ethan. Brother, is that a satisfactory resolution? Ethan, seeing that Lang had already taken charge, simply nodded. If Sean ever dared to bother him or his sister again, he would just have the shadow guards deal with him permanently. Lian Qiang, seeing that the situation was resolved, started giving Lang pointed looks, trying to silently urge him to make the introduction. Lang cleared his throat and announced to the room. Everyone, this is Ethan Yi, the owner of Universal Group and a good friend of mine. I expect you all to be on your best behavior. If anyone offends my friend, they'll have to answer to me. He then turned to Ethan. This is Lian Qiang, from the Yang family of Shenzhen. Lian Qi stepped forward, his hand extended. Mr. Yi, I've heard so much about you. It's an honor. The pleasure is all mine, Ethan said, shaking his hand. But please, call me Ethan. Tell me, Ethan, Lianqi asked, his curiosity getting the better of him. Is Hudson Yi of the new United Group in Hong Kong related to you? Ethan nodded, though he was surprised. Few people knew of his connection to Hudson. How did you know? He asked. Lianqi was stunned. Universal Group was already a titan. To learn that the rising United Group also belonged to Ethan was a shock. It was just a guess, he admitted. Hong Kong is close to Shenzhen, so we watch it closely. The companies that formed United Group had previously made a move against Universal. And Hudson's surname is Yi. It just made me wonder. You didn't bring up United Group just to confirm our connection, did you? Ethan asked, sensing there was more to it. Lang clapped Lianqi on the back. Come on, man, spit it out. Ethan is a straightforward guy. All right, Lianqi said, looking a bit embarrassed. The Yang family is very interested in some of United Group's projects. But you know how it is, the people in Hong Kong can be a bit exclusive. We haven't even been able to get a meeting with Hudson. I was hoping you could make an introduction. Of course, if you feel the Yang family isn't up to standard, just say so. No hard feelings. It was a small request, so Ethan gave him Hudson's number. Just contact him directly, he said. I'm a bit lazy when it comes to business matters. But I do have one small request. If United Group ever decides to enter the Shenzhen market, I hope the Yang family can smooth the way for us. For Lianqi, this was a golden opportunity. The succession in the Yang family was still undecided, with him and his two brothers all vying for the position. A partnership with United Group would give him a huge advantage. Ethan, you have my word. If your company ever comes to Shenzhen, the Yang family will provide its full support. Seeing that they were done with business, Lang said. Now, let's get back to the party. But Ethan noticed that Elaine and Nina were looking tired. You guys have fun, he said. I'm going to take them home. Let's get together again soon. After seeing them off, Lang turned to Lianqi, his expression serious. We've known each other for years, so I'll be blunt. Ethan is a man worth befriending. But if you ever think of using him, don't blame me when I turn against you. I would never, Lianqi said earnestly. I'll win the succession on my own merits. I hope you mean that, Lang said. Because if you try to scheme against him, the Yang family won't exist for much longer. Ethan is easygoing, but that Hudson Yi, he's a ruthless one. I'm sure you're aware of that. Of course, Lang chuckled. Hudson was with Universal Group for a while before he went to Hong Kong. He's making serious waves over there now. He's certainly impressive, Lianqi agreed. To have consolidated those companies so quickly, and all his opponents just disappeared. Everyone knows he did it, but there's not a shred of evidence. Lang clapped him on the shoulder. Just stay on Ethan's good side, and you'll see some unexpected rewards. Now let's get back to the party. Back at the villa, Elaine followed Ethan and Nina inside. So, Ethan asked his sister, are you going to live at home or stay in the dorm? I think I'll stay at the dorm, she said after a moment's thought. Those two awful roommates are leaving tomorrow, so you don't have to worry about me. He agreed. It would be good for her to make new friends. All right, but don't be so low-key on campus anymore. Let people know you're not to be messed with. If you run into any trouble, call me or Brother Lang. Her eyes lit up. Well, if you're going to say that, then you should probably give me some financial support, right? She said, rubbing her fingers together playfully. He laughed. She was certainly quick to seize an opportunity. He transferred 100 million to her, and the same amount to Nina. That should be enough for you, you little rascal. Now we're talking, Elaine declared. She immediately went to the wine cellar and emerged with a bottle of red. Nina, are you staying here tonight, or coming back to the dorm with me? Hey, Ethan grumbled. First you steal my wine, and now you're trying to steal my wife. Nina just laughed. Don't be mad, Ethan. It's been a long day. I think I'll go with her, and we can have a girls' night. You'll be all right on your own for one night. And with that, they left, leaving him standing alone in the grand villa. Feeling a bit lonely, he decided to go for a walk and check on his apprentice, Winston. He walked to the spot where Grandma Wei usually set up her food stall, but it was empty. A sense of unease settled over him, and he headed for their home. As he approached, he saw a crowd gathered outside, and he could hear the sound of Grandma Wei's heartbroken sobs. He pushed his way through the crowd. Grandma Wei, what happened? She saw him and was about to fall to her knees. He caught her just in time. What is it? Where's Winston? Through her tears, she explained that some young men had eaten at her stall and refused to pay. Winston had confronted them, and a fight broke out. As a cultivator, Winston easily beat them. But one of them made a phone call, and a larger group of men arrived, subdued Winston, and dragged him away, claiming he had violated the rule against martial artists using their skills on ordinary people. Ethan's face grew dark. He knew that meant Winston had been taken by the Shanghai branch of the Ninth Bureau. Don't worry, Grandma, he said, his voice dangerously calm. I'll handle this. I'll bring him back safely. He turned and strode away, pulling out his phone. He dialed Mu Chongqing's number. Mu Chongqing, he said, his voice like ice. Give me the address of the Ninth Bureau's Shanghai branch. Now, Ethan ignored Mu Chongqing's concerned questions, and, once he had the address, hung up. He summoned his flying sword and shot towards the Shanghai military district like a meteor. Mu, sensing a disaster in the making, frantically called the head of the Shanghai branch, Lu Tianhua. Lu Tianhua, what the hell is going on over there? Inspector General Yi just demanded your address. Lu was completely bewildered. Captain Mu, everything is normal here. We haven't had any special missions, just routine training. Well, you'd better figure it out, and fast. Mu snapped. He was furious. I'm telling you, this is the man who is a golden core master. Your little branch, hell, the entire Shanghai military, couldn't stop him if he decides to tear the place down. I have to report this to Director Zhong. As Lu scrambled to figure out what was happening, Ethan appeared at the gate of the military district, descending from the sky. The guard, startled, raised his rifle. This is a restricted area. Leave immediately. Out of respect for the uniform, Ethan didn't make a move. He simply stated, I am Ethan Yi, Major General of the People's Liberation Army and Inspector General of the 9th Bureau. I'm here to visit the Shanghai branch. Here are my credentials. After a quick verification and a call to his superiors, the guard snapped to attention and opened the gate. Just as Ethan was approaching the branch office, Director Zhong called. Ethan, what's going on? Calm down. Don't do anything rash. Director, Ethan said, his voice tight with anger. The Shanghai branch of the 9th Bureau arrested my apprentice. As his master, I think I'm entitled to a look, don't you? Zhong's heart sank. Some idiot had actually arrested Ethan Yi's apprentice. This was not going to end well. Ethan, I know you're angry, but please, stay calm. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding. We're all on the same team here. Director, you have my word, Ethan said, his voice dangerously low. If it's a misunderstanding, I will apologize and make amends. But if someone has deliberately wronged me, then I don't care who they are. There will be consequences. Zhong knew he couldn't stop him. Ethan, if the Shanghai branch is in the wrong, then you have my permission to exercise your full authority as Inspector General. Ethan hung up and stood before the branch office, radiating an aura of such cold fury that everyone instinctively kept their distance. Lu Tianhua rushed out. Inspector General, I am Lu Tianhua, head of the Shanghai branch. What has happened to anger you so? Your branch arrested my apprentice, Winston Wei. Ethan said, his eyes boring into Lu. I want to know on what charge. Or is this some kind of message for me? A little challenge to my authority. Overwhelmed by Ethan's sheer presence, Lu began to sweat. Inspector General, we haven't conducted any arrests. We've only been engaged in internal training. Seeing that Lu seemed to be telling the truth, Ethan retracted his aura slightly and swept the entire building with his spiritual sense. He found Winston in an interrogation room. Ethan strode towards the room, the others scrambling to keep up. He opened the door and saw Winston, bruised and battered, sitting dejectedly at a table. Master, Winston cried out, his eyes filling with tears. Ethan's heart clenched with guilt and rage. He helped his apprentice to his feet, then turned to Lu, his voice like death. I need an explanation, or you will regret it. Lu was dumbfounded. He had no idea who this person was or why he was in his interrogation room. What is the meaning of this? He roared at the man in charge of the room, Zhang Qiping. Captain Lu. It was Tan's son who brought him in, Zhang stammered. I don't know anything else. Lu's gaze fell on a pale-faced agent named Tan's son. Tan's son, step forward. Explain yourself. Ethan saw the lie in Tan Sen's eyes. He unleashed the full, crushing pressure of his golden core cultivation based directly on the man. Tell me the truth now, he said, his voice a low growl, or I will crush you. Under the terrifying pressure, Tan's son broke. Mercy, Inspector General, he shrieked. I'll tell you everything. I framed him. I was greedy. Please spare me. The full story came tumbling out. Tan's son had been passing Winston's house when he sensed a powerful martial artist's aura. Peeking through the window, he saw Winston using spirit-gathering pills to aid his cultivation, the very same precious pills that the Shanghai branch had recently distributed. Tan's son himself had only received one, which had allowed him to break through to the mid-tier of the inner strength realm. Seeing a whole bottle of them, he was consumed by greed. He devised a plan, instructing his subordinates to provoke Winston into a fight, giving him the pretext to arrest him and seize the pills. After hearing the story, Ethan's face was a mask of cold fury. His well-intentioned gift to the 9th Bureau had nearly gotten his apprentice killed. He turned to Winston. Did anyone else besides this man lay a hand on you? No, master, Winston said, his head bowed in shame. I have disappointed you. Ethan's gaze snapped back to Tan's son, his killing intent now palpable. You have confessed your crime. According to the rules of the 9th Bureau, you know the penalty. Please, Inspector General, spare me. Tan's son groveled, banging his head on the floor. I'll never do it again. If every criminal could be forgiven simply by begging, Ethan said coldly, then what is the point of having rules? With a wave of his hand, he sent a blast of spiritual energy at Tan's son. The man's head exploded in a shower of gore. Ethan turned to a horrified Lu Tianhua. Captain Lu, I expect you to conduct a thorough investigation of every single person in this branch. If you have any objections to my methods, feel free to report me. I'll be waiting. Lou, terrified, could only stammer his agreement. Ethan then took a bottle of minor restoration pills from the system and tossed it to Winston. Take these and heal up. Don't let your grandmother worry. And remember this. If anyone ever tries to bully you again, you fight back. Hit them as hard as you can. If there are any consequences, your master will handle them. Winston nodded, his eyes filled with tears of gratitude. Ethan then summoned his flying sword. Come on, let's go home. A pained expression crossed Winston's face as memories of his last flight surfaced. Master, maybe I should just take a cab. Ethan just laughed. Don't be a baby. I'll go slower this time. Now get on. Lu Tianhua watched them disappear into the sky, his heart still pounding. One of his subordinates whispered, Captain, what level of cultivation must he have to be able to fly on a sword? Some things are not for you to know, Lu snapped. Now, I want every single one of you to conduct a self-examination. If you have done anything wrong, confess now and I will be lenient. But if I find something myself, there will be no mercy. He then retreated to his office and called Director Zhong. What are the casualties? How many dead? Zhong asked immediately. Director, only Tan's son, the one who framed the Inspector General's apprentice, was executed, Lu reported. Thank God, Zhong said with a sigh of relief. I was worried I'd have to find a whole new staff for the Shanghai branch tomorrow. Was it really that serious, Director? Lu asked, still shaken. There was a pause. You should all consider yourselves lucky you're Chinese, Zhong said grimly. A few days ago, Ethan went to Japan and single-handedly wiped out the entire Chimoto clan, down to the last pet. A cold sweat broke out on Lu's skin. He had just been standing on the edge of a cliff without even knowing it. Meanwhile, back at Winston's home, his apprentice was looking at him with an accusatory glare. Master, what happened to the basic trust between people? You said you'd go slower this time, he groaned, looking distinctly green. I did go slower, Ethan protested, a bit guiltily. It took me 1 minute to get there, and a full 5 minutes to get back. You just need to cultivate harder. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have things to do. With that, he vanished, leaving Winston to stumble home, muttering about how his master was going to give him a lifelong fear of heights. The next morning, Director Zhong went to the Dragon residence. In number 1's office, he found the leader sitting with 2 unfamiliar old men. Come in, Zhong, number 1 said. They have a matter that you may need to handle. The 2 old men were Chu Nanfeng and Han Ling, the patriarchs of their respective families. They had come to plead their case regarding the conflict with Ethan Yi. We know our juniors were in the wrong, Chu Nanfeng said humbly. But we can't just watch our families decline. We were hoping, for the sake of old times, that you could mediate. Number 1 was silent for a long time. Finally, he sighed. All right, for the sake of your family's past contributions to China, I will help you this one time. But this is it. You're both old men now. Go home, tend to your gardens, and stop meddling in the affairs of the young. As the 2 patriarchs left, a small smile touched number 1's lips. He turned to Director Zhong. Well, Zhong, what brings you here today? Does it have to do with Ethan as well? Zhong smiled and placed 2 small jade bottles on the desk. You've guessed it, sir. I was worried you would give away the longevity pill he gave you, so I asked him for one for myself. He was generous enough to give me 2 bottles, with the instruction that you could give one away, but you absolutely had to take one for yourself. Otherwise, he said, he wouldn't share any more good things with you in the future. Number 1 looked at the 2 bottles, surprised. He had assumed such a rare item would be in short supply. That cheeky boy, he said, a genuine warmth in his voice. I appreciate the sentiment, but one is more than enough for me. The rest should go to our old scientists. Every extra day they live is a blessing for China. Zhong knew how valuable those scientists were. He silently vowed to get more pills from Ethan if he could. He then moved on to his next report. Last night, a member of the Shanghai branch framed and arrested Ethan's apprentice, Winston Wei, in an attempt to steal his cultivation pills. Ethan executed the man on the spot. He watched number 1's reaction carefully. The leader's face remained impassive. And what are your thoughts on this matter, Zhong? He asked after a moment of silence. In my opinion, sir, Zhong said formally, Ethan's actions were justified. The 9th Bureau is a critical line of defense for this country. If we allow selfish, corrupt individuals to fester within our ranks, it could lead to catastrophic consequences. Number 1 nodded. You are correct. A single anthill can cause the collapse of a great dam. The 9th Bureau must be purged of such elements. A problem within the Bureau is far more dangerous than one in any other department. Just as Zhong was about to leave, number 1 stopped him. One more thing. Speak to Ethan about the Chu and Han families. Tell him to let them off with a financial penalty. Zhong called Ethan right away. Ethan just laughed. So they ran to their daddy, did they? Fine. Since he's asked, I'll give him face. Tell them each to donate 50 billion to my new charitable foundation, and we'll call it even. You're really turning me into your personal errand boy, you know that? Zhong grumbled, though he was smiling. He then told Ethan about his own experiences working with Veterans Affairs and promised to use his influence to help the foundation in any way he could, including smoothing things over with the Civil Affairs Department. He also assured Ethan that Number One would fully support the inclusion of veterans from the other side of the conflict, as all who fought for China deserved respect. Well then, Director, Ethan said with a laugh. I won't keep you from collecting my 100 billion. Talk to you later. After hanging up, Zhong chuckled to himself. That cheeky kid, always giving me orders. Meanwhile, Ethan said a quick goodbye to Bianca and drove to the brothel, which was quiet in the early morning hours. A quick scan with his spiritual sense located Flora Hua, who was still in bed. And, to his surprise, she was wearing nothing but a traditional dudu, a small silk apron. He quickly averted his spiritual gaze, muttering to himself, Don't look. But wow. Just then, the door opened, and Serena Ciel looked at him quizzically. What did you say, Pavilion Master? I said, what a nice day. The clouds are so white, he said, blushing. She glanced outside at the overcast sky, but didn't question him. After she went to wake her mistress, Ethan waited in the courtyard. Half an hour later, Flora emerged, looking radiant. Pavilion Master, what pleasant wind blew you here today? Can't I just come for a visit, he joked. How is everything with the 100 Flowers sect? And the Grand Elder, has she recovered? Thanks to your pills, she has made a full recovery, Flora said with a flirtatious smile. And the sect is peaceful. Good, he said, his tone turning serious. I actually came to discuss something with you. I've heard a rumor that the peak of the Kunlun Mountains holds a treasure of countless precious artifacts and secret manuals. Her expression changed instantly. Has a cultivator been spreading this? Are they trying to get to the spirit world? I don't know, Ethan admitted. I heard it from Peter Zhao, and the woman who told him has vanished. I will report this to the sect immediately, she said. If we learn anything, I will inform you at once. After leaving, Ethan found himself with nothing to do, so he drove around aimlessly until he spotted an internet cafe. The nostalgia hit him, and he went inside. He paid for a computer and ordered a bowl of instant noodles, a sausage, a braised egg, and a soda. As he was settling in, the man at the next computer, who was in his 30s, looked over at his screen. You don't see many young guys playing this game anymore, he commented. It was an old MMORPG that Ethan used to play with his older brother back in middle school. Yeah, it's been a while, Ethan said, stirring his noodles. My brother got me into it, but I had to quit in high school. I'm surprised they still have it here. I haven't played in ages either, the man said with a sigh. All my old guildmates quit, so it's not as fun anymore. Hey, since we're on the same server, want to team up and run a dungeon? Ethan, with nothing better to do, agreed. They played for a couple of hours, chatting as they fought monsters. Ethan learned that the man's name was Luke Liu, and he was the owner of the internet cafe. I haven't had this much fun in years. Luke said, come by anytime you want, it's on the house. Thanks, Ethan said. But why open an internet cafe? It's not exactly a booming business these days. I used to be an office drone, Luke explained. The stress was killing me. I finally quit, took some money from my family, and opened this place. It's not about the money. I just wanted to do something I enjoy. That's the most important thing, Ethan agreed. After Luke left to pick up his kids from school, Ethan also logged off. He decided to go see Nina and Elaine at the university. He found them coming out of their dorm and suggested they go for a picnic at a campsite in the suburbs. At the campsite, they rented a small wooden cabin and bought some pre-packaged barbecue ingredients. Soon, the air was filled with the delicious smell of grilling meat. This is amazing, Elaine said, her mouth full. Nina carefully handed Ethan a perfectly grilled kidney skewer. Here, you need to replenish your strength, she said with a suggestive wink. He took it, a bit flustered. You know you're playing with fire, right? What fire? Elaine asked, looking up from her food. Mom said if you play with fire, you'll wet the bed. Mind your own business and eat your food, Ethan grumbled, glaring at his mischievous little sister. Chapter 174. He still treats me like a little kid, Elaine muttered, wiping the grease from her mouth. She then changed the subject. Brother, I called Mom last night. She said Fiona and Jason have been sentenced. Fiona got 7 years, and Jason got 15. That was fast, Ethan said, surprised. I thought it would take at least half a year. It's all thanks to Quinn, she said proudly. He pulled some strings and got it done quickly. Just then, a portly, middle-aged man swaggered over to their cabin. He had a flashy woman on his arm and was deliberately hiking up his pants to show off his Hermes belt. Hey, you students, he said arrogantly. I'll give you 5 times what you paid for this cabin. Now scram. Ethan just sighed. Why did he always attract these idiots? Seeing Ethan's silence, the man grew impatient. What, are you deaf? Not enough money. Fine, 10 times. I've got all the money in the world. Oh, Godfather, you're so handsome and generous, the woman cooed, rubbing herself against him. How shameless, Elaine whispered. But the woman heard her. What did you say, you little bitch? She shrieked. Say it again, and I'll rip your mouth off. The man finally noticed Elaine and Nina. He sucked in his gut and puffed out his chest. My name is Leoli, he announced. I own a few small coal mines. Oh, so you sell coal briquettes? Elaine said with a completely straight face. You must work very hard. Tell you what, if you call me godmother, I'll give you 50 yuan. Leo was dumbfounded. Women were supposed to throw themselves at him when they heard he was a coal baron. I sell coal, not coal briquettes, he roared, his face turning purple. It's the same thing, isn't it? Elaine muttered. An idea seemed to strike him. How about this, he said, a greasy smile spreading across his face. I'll give you 500 yuan if you call me Big Brother. Before she could respond, Ethan spoke up. Tell you what, if you call me Godfather, I'll give you 100 million. How about it, son? Just as Leo was about to explode, a familiar voice called out. Mr. Yi, what a pleasant surprise to see you here. It was Gavin Chi, a man Ethan vaguely remembered from the supercar club. Gavin, Leo whispered urgently, who is this guy? Why are you being so respectful to him? Gavin shot a quick glance at Ethan, who gave a subtle nod. Mr. Lee, he said, this is Mr. Ethan Yi, the owner of Universal Group. Have you offended him? Leo's blood ran cold. Universal Group. His own small fortune was nothing compared to that corporate giant. But then, a new thought occurred to him. This could be an opportunity. He immediately adopted a fawning expression and bowed to Ethan. Godfather, I was just being foolish. Please, don't hold it against me. He then turned to his companion. Lily, what are you waiting for? Come and greet your grand godfather. Hey, don't take things so literally, Ethan said, trying to stop him. But Godfather, you can't go back on your word. You said it yourself. I don't even want the 100 million. Just take me under your wing. Elaine collapsed into a fit of laughter. Brother, this is hilarious. You're barely in your 20s and you already have a 40-year-old son. Get lost now. Ethan snapped at Leo. You're a rich man. Have some dignity. Of course, Godfather, Leo said with a wink. I'll leave you to have a nice time with Godmother and Godandy. After the bizarre duo left, Ethan turned to Gavin. Is he always like this? Did he just inherit his money from his father? You guessed it, Mr. Yi, Gavin said with a smile. But don't underestimate him. He plays the fool, but he's actually quite cunning. Keep an eye on him for me, Ethan said. If he starts causing trouble using my name, let me know. After Gavin left, Ethan turned to Nina. I have to go away for a few days, so I won't be able to see you. But the good news is, the charitable foundation is officially up and running. You should go check it out when you have time. He sent her Luna's contact information. Where are you going now? She asked. In a couple of days, it's Chris Cheng's wedding, he said with a smile. As his best friend, I have to be there. Just then, his phone rang. It was Morgan Moo from Star Pharma. Mr. Yi, great news. The 3 new drugs have been successfully developed. All we need to do now is pass the clinical trials, and we can begin mass production. Ethan was overjoyed. Excellent work. As a reward, all employees of Star Pharma will receive a bonus equal to their monthly salary. I'll arrange for the relevant authorities to come and supervise the clinical trials. Please make the necessary preparations. After hanging up, he told Nina and Elaine the good news. Congratulations, Ethan, Nina said warmly. Elaine's eyes sparkled. Brother, you're getting more and more amazing. Maybe I should come and work for you when I graduate. He just ruffled her hair. Your job right now is to study hard. We can talk about work after you have enough knowledge to actually be useful. Elaine just grumbled into her kebab. Finally escaped Mom's nagging. Now my brother starts in on me. My life is so hard. Ethan ignored her and called Director Zhong. Ethan, the director answered, a hint of weariness in his voice. What is it this time? Did you get into some kind of trouble I need to clean up? Hey, why do you always assume the worst? Ethan protested. Do I really have that kind of reputation? Anyway, I'm calling with good news. The 3 miracle drugs have been successfully developed. It's time for the relevant departments to test their efficacy. Zhong's interest was immediately piqued. If these drugs were as effective as Ethan claimed, they could change the world. All right, I'll make the arrangements. They should be at your factory tomorrow. Will you be there? Yes, I'll be there, Ethan said. You weren't planning on going, were you? Zhong teased. You're the most irresponsible chairman I've ever met. Fine, I'll come too. And bring some of those good pills with you when you come. Director, I'm shocked, Ethan joked. I always thought of you as an upright and incorruptible public servant. Are you asking for a bribe? What? The signal's bad. I can't hear you. Zhong said loudly. I'll just assume that's a yes. Gotta go. Ethan laughed as he heard the dial tone. He never knew the serious director had such a playful side. Meanwhile, Zhong called Dr. Dongyang Chi, the head of the drug administration. Dongyang, it's Zhong. I need a favor. I knew you weren't calling just to chat. Dr. Chi grumbled. What is it? I'm busy. There's a pharmaceutical factory in Tianjin called Star Pharma, Zhong explained. They've developed several new miracle drugs and want to get them to market quickly. Can you arrange for some people to go test them and monitor the clinical trials? Dr. Chi's tone turned icy. Are you asking me to bend the rules, Zhong? Absolutely not. This is about people's lives. I won't cut corners. Idiot, Zhong roared. Do you think I'm that kind of person? The formulas for these drugs were provided by the new Inspector General of the Ninth Bureau. He's a Golden Core Master. Do you have any idea what that means? There was a stunned silence on the other end. Are you serious, Zhong? Dr. Chi asked, his voice now much softer. What do the drugs treat? I don't know the details, Zhong said. Something for diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. You're the expert, that's why I'm calling you. Diabetes, heart disease, and cancer? Dr. Chi repeated, his voice now filled with urgency. Tell them I'm coming personally tomorrow morning. I have to go. I need to get my father to come with me. He hung up abruptly. Zhong, looking smug, sent Ethan a text letting him know the head of the Drug Administration himself would be there tomorrow. At the Chi family's courtyard house, Dr. Dongyang Chi burst in. Genevieve, is your grandfather home? He asked his daughter. He went out to visit an old friend, she said, looking up from her medical textbook. What's wrong, Dad? Director Zhong called, Dongyang Chi explained. There's a new miracle drug that treats diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. I'm going to the factory to inspect it tomorrow, and I wanted your grandfather to come with me. His experience is invaluable. If that's true, it could save countless lives, Genevieve said, her eyes shining. Just then, the door opened, and an old man with a head of white hair walked in. It was her grandfather, Alistair Chi. After Dongyang explained the situation, the old man's eyes lit up. Excellent. I will of course accompany you tomorrow. Meanwhile, back in the car, Elaine was restless. Where are we going next, brother? I don't want to go home yet. Anywhere you want, he said with a smile. She turned to Nina with a mischievous grin. Nina, should we go shopping? Or shopping? You little schemer, Nina laughed. Let's go shopping. Let's go to the new United Shopping Center. Elaine cheered. It just opened. I've seen all the ads online. Fine, Ethan said, but I'm not carrying your bags. Then you're not as good as Peter, she pouted. He would definitely carry my bags. She immediately called him. Elaine, what's up? Peter answered. Did you get into a fight at school? I'll have Lang come over and back you up. Why does everyone think I'm a troublemaker? She grumbled. Anyway, I'm going shopping and I need someone to carry my bags. Are you in Shanghai? I wish I could, he said, and Ethan could hear the grin in his voice. But I'm in Zibo right now. Next time. What are you doing in Zibo? Ethan asked, taking the phone. Hey Ethan, I came to see my grandfather. He said he missed me, so I brought him that 1,000-year ginseng as a gift. I might be heading to Zibo in a few days myself, Ethan said. I'll stop by and pay my respects to your grandfather then. Half an hour later, they arrived at the massive, glittering United Shopping Center. Elaine immediately dashed into a Huawei store. I want the newest phone and the highest spec laptop you have, she announced. She then turned to Nina. You should get a set too, my treat. Nina just smiled. I'm fine, thanks, Elaine. My things are still working perfectly. Elaine shrugged and had the clerk ring up her purchases. She then turned to her brother. Well, my dear rich brother, aren't you going to pay? He just rolled his eyes, paid for her things, and handed her the bags. I told you, I'm not carrying them. Don't worry, I can handle this much, Elaine said cheerfully. You just need to handle the bills. Come on, Nina, let's go look at dresses. At the Chanel boutique, a sharp-eyed saleswoman spotted the Patek Philippe on Elaine's wrist and immediately rushed over to greet them. After trying on a few dresses, Elaine settled on a stunning light blue one, complete with matching crystal earrings and a necklace. You should pick something out too, Nina, Elaine urged. That white dress over there would look amazing on you. She's right, Ethan added. You should try it on. Encouraged, Nina went to the dressing room. When she emerged, she was a vision. The simple white dress perfectly complemented her elegant figure and fair skin. Wow, Nina, you look beautiful. Elaine gasped. My brother can't take his eyes off you. She's right, Ethan said, his voice soft and sincere. The dress is perfect for you. I love it, and I love you in it. Blushing, Nina went to change back into her clothes, but Ethan stopped her. Don't change, he said, gently removing the price tag. You can wear it now. After he paid, Elaine announced she was hungry again and dragged them towards a dessert shop on the second floor. On their way, they saw a crowd gathered around a bubble tea shop. Curious, they went to investigate. In the center of the crowd, a large, angry-looking middle-aged woman was pulling the hair of a young female employee. You sell nothing but garbage in this dump, the woman shrieked. My son drank your bubble tea, and now he has diarrhea. If you don't give me a satisfactory explanation, I'll smash this whole place to bits. The young employee, though clearly terrified, was trying to hold her ground. Ma'am, your son didn't buy any tea from our shop. There must be some misunderstanding. Who are you calling, ma'am? Do I look old to you, you little slut? The woman screamed, raising her hand to slap the girl. Before the woman's hand could connect, Elaine shot forward and shoved her away. She then rushed to the employee's side. Chloe, are you okay? The employee, Chloe Yu, looked at Elaine nervously. I'm fine, Elaine. You should go, don't get involved in this. The middle-aged woman, recovering from the shock of being pushed by a slip of a girl, flew into a rage. You little bitch. Do you know who I am? You're dead, she shrieked, lunging at Elaine. But Ethan simply stuck out his foot, and Chong Jun's cousin went sprawling. Just then, a young man arrived with several burly security guards and began to disperse the crowd. He then went to Chong Jun's cousin on the floor. Cousin, what's going on? He asked. Chong Jun's cousin burst into tears. Chong Jun, you're here? These two little tramps were bullying me. My poor nephew drank their bubble tea and got sick, and when I came to get an explanation, they assaulted me. Look, my arm is bleeding. You have to get justice for me. Chang Jun knew his cousin was a troublemaker, but he had to do something. He turned to the shop manager. This incident has seriously damaged our shopping center's reputation. How do you intend to handle it? The manager, intimidated, could only stammer. Captain Chang, what do you think we should do? You will apologize and offer a reasonable compensation package, Chang Jun said officiously. Otherwise, you can pack up and leave. That's right, the cousin shrieked. I want 10,000 yuan, and these two bitches have to get on their knees and kowtow to me. Chloe, the employee, was in tears. Manager, that little boy never bought tea here. They're just trying to extort us. There's a security camera right there, Ethan said, stepping forward. Just check the footage. Who asked you, you busybody? Chang Jun's cousin snapped. And you, Chang Jun said to Ethan, his face a mask of annoyance. This has nothing to do with you. Get lost before I have security throw you out. Throw me out, Ethan said with a cold laugh. A pathetic little security captain like you? I don't think so. Listen, kid, Chang Jun sneered. I don't know who you are, but this isn't a place you want to make trouble. Oh really? Ethan said, an amused smile on his face. And who, exactly, am I not supposed to mess with? This shopping center is owned by the United Group from Hong Kong, Chang Jun declared proudly. All the powerful people in Shanghai came to our grand opening. Now, get lost before you get hurt. A strange expression crossed Ethan's face. He was being threatened in a mall that he owned. Go get your person in charge, he said, his voice flat and devoid of emotion. I want to have a word with them about their hiring practices. You think you can just summon our manager? Chang Jun scoffed. Men, teach this arrogant punk a lesson. The security guards moved towards Ethan, but he dispatched them with a few quick, effortless strikes. Chang Jun's face went pale. Why you assaulted them, he stammered. Ethan walked towards him, and the security captain backed away until his back was against a wall. Are you still going to throw me out? Ethan asked quietly. Chang Jun shook his head, his face a mask of terror. Ethan then turned to the shop manager. Get the security footage. If it proves what these two are saying is false, call the police. The footage, of course, showed that the little boy had never been to the shop. The crowd, which had started to gather again, began to jeer at Chang Jun's cousin and Chang Jun. The commotion finally drew the attention of the mall's general manager, Chen Yongjia. He stormed over. What is going on here? Why hasn't this been resolved? He demanded of Chang Jun. Mr. Chen, the security captain said, pointing a trembling finger at Ethan. This man caused all the trouble. He even assaulted our security guards. Chen Yongjia looked at Ethan, a flicker of recognition in his eyes. Have we met before, sir? He asked. I don't believe United Shopping Center has done anything to offend you. So you're going to take your subordinate side? Ethan said with a cold smile. Don't worry about who I am. I'm just an ordinary citizen. We've never met. Hearing this, Chen's face hardened. You assaulted my security guards. This won't end here. You'll be spending the next few years in prison. In response, Ethan simply slapped him across the face, sending him sprawling to the ground with a bloody lip. You want me to go to prison? Ethan said, pulling up a chair and sitting down in front of the shop. You don't have the ability. Go ahead, call whoever you want. I'll be waiting right here. You just wait. Chen sputtered, holding his swollen face. If I don't teach you a lesson today, my name isn't Chen Yongjia. Chloe, the young employee, rushed over to Elaine. You have to get your brother out of here. The people behind this mall are incredibly powerful. Don't worry about it, Elaine said with a confident smile. There's no one in Shanghai my brother can't handle. Now could you make us 3 bubble teas? I'm thirsty. A few minutes later, police cars pulled up to the mall entrance. Chen Yongjia, his face a mixture of pain and triumph, led a group of officers towards the bubble tea shop. Officer Zhang, he cried, pointing at Ethan. That's him. That's the punk who's been causing all the trouble. Superintendent Zhang scrutinized Ethan from head to toe. The young man was calm and composed, showing no fear. It made him uneasy. Sir, Mr. Chen Yongjia has accused you of assaulting him and the mall's security guards. May I see your identification? Without a word, Ethan retrieved his major general's credentials from the system space and handed them over. Your rank doesn't give you the authority to handle this matter, Ethan said coolly. You should probably just stay out of it. The superintendent carefully examined the credentials. As a former soldier himself, he knew they were authentic. A major general in his 20s? He must have performed some extraordinary service to the country. He snapped to attention and saluted. Sir, we will stand down immediately. If you have any orders, I will see them carried out. Ethan pointed at Chang Jun and the middle-aged woman. These two are suspected of extortion. The shop's security cameras have recorded the entire incident. Take them into custody and handle this with the utmost severity. Without hesitation, the superintendent ordered his men to arrest the two, and the police team departed. Chen Yongjia stood there, dumbfounded, as he watched them being led away. What's the matter? Ethan taunted Chen Yongjia. Aren't you going to call for more backup? I'm very interested to see who else you can summon. If you're done, then it's my turn. At that moment, a familiar voice called out. Mr. Yi, it's been a while. Are you here to inspect the premises? It was Melinda Fong. Hardly an inspection, Ethan said with a wry smile. I was just defending the innocent and ended up getting threatened. Chen Yongjia turned to Melinda Fong, desperate. Miss Fong, you know this man? Who is he? How dare he look down on United Group? A strange expression crossed Melinda's face. She looked from Chen Yongjia to Ethan, then back again, a teasing glint in her eye. Mr. Yi, you're such a hands-off chairman that your own employees don't even recognize you. If word of this got out, you'd be a laughingstock. Chen Yongjia was completely bewildered. Miss Fong, please don't joke with me. I know who the executives of United Group are. I've even seen a photo of Vice President Wang. This man is not one of our leaders. Are you joking? Melinda said with a cold laugh. Mr. Yi is the owner of Universal Group. Hudson Yi himself works for him. You're simply too low-level to have ever had the chance to meet him. If Mr. Yi hadn't been merciful to my family back then, the Fong family wouldn't even exist today. At this, Chen Yongjia's legs gave out, and he collapsed to the floor in a trembling heap. He crawled to Ethan's feet, begging for his life. Ethan just kicked Chen Yongjia away in disgust. Pack your things and get out. I don't want to see your face again. Melinda watched, a playful smirk on her face. Don't worry, Mr. Yi, she whispered. Your secret is safe with me. Ethan just rolled his eyes. Say whatever you want, I don't care. Come on, Nina, Elaine, let's go. After they left, Melinda looked down at the pathetic man on the floor. I'd advise you to disappear, she said coolly. Mr. Yi may be merciful, but you should remember that Hudson Yi is not. And with that, she too departed. Back at the villa, Elaine put her shopping in her Porsche. Brother, Elaine said with a sly grin, Nina grilled a lot of kidneys for you today. You'd better perform well tonight. I won't be a third wheel. I'm going back to my dorm. You little brat, Ethan grumbled, blushing. Just wait until you get a boyfriend. I'll get you back for this. After Elaine left, Bianca, the head maid, met them at the door. Mr. Yi, what would you like for dinner? She asked. Something simple is fine, Bianca, Ethan said. As Nina walked into the living room, Bianca leaned in and whispered, Mr. Yi, I know a good traditional doctor, very effective for that sort of thing. I could make an appointment for you. Don't worry, I won't tell a soul. Ethan's face turned black. He was a golden core master. His body was a temple of peak physical perfection. How could he possibly be impotent? It was all Elaine's fault. Bianca, Ethan said through gritted teeth. Please don't listen to my sister's nonsense. She was just joking. I am in excellent health. Of course, Mr. Yi, I understand completely, Bianca said, her eyes twinkling with amusement. Actually, I need to get some medicine for my husband tomorrow. He's been a bit lacking in energy lately. I'll just leave it in your study when I get back, if you wouldn't mind watching it for me. Defeated, Ethan retreated to his study. He found a pack of cigarettes he hadn't touched since acquiring the system and lit one, inhaling the familiar smoke. Just then, Ethan's phone rang. It was Wayne Wong. Hey Ethan, it's Chris's wedding the day after tomorrow. When are you heading over? I have some business in Tianjin tomorrow, so I'll probably get there around noon. You should go early if you have time. I'm already in Shandong province. Wayne said proudly. I'll head over to his place in the morning. Hey, what should we give as a cash gift? I was thinking 660,000. That's a good number, right? No, just give 1,000, Ethan said. What? Are you getting cheap on us? Chris's family isn't well off. We should help them out. That's exactly why we can't give too much, Ethan explained. A cash gift is a debt that has to be repaid. Let's just give a normal amount. Then, when he serves tea to his in-laws, the three of us can give him a really big red envelope on the side. Haha, you've gotten crafty, my friend. I like it. I'll go tell Tom, Wayne said, then hung up. Just then, Nina came into the study and wrinkled her nose at the smell of smoke. Are you smoking again? Is something wrong? Nina asked, coming up behind Ethan and massaging his shoulders. No, everything's fine, Ethan said, pulling Nina into his lap. Just felt like having one. Well, dinner's ready, Nina said softly. At the dinner table, Bianca smiled at Ethan. Mr. Yi, I had the chef prepare a special meal for you. You must eat up. I'll be taking a half day tomorrow to see that doctor, but I should be back by noon. Ethan looked at the spread on the table, and his face turned black again. There was a huge plate of chive and egg dumplings, a platter of oysters, a dish of stir-fried kidneys, and a bowl of sea cucumber. Ethan looked at Nina with a betrayed expression. Nina batted her eyelashes at him innocently. Why are you looking at me like that? Is there something on my face? This is all your fault, he grumbled. First the kidneys at the barbecue, and then Elaine's stupid joke at the door. Bianca overheard, and now she thinks I'm lacking. Look at this food. Do I look like I need this? My magnificent reputation is in tatters. Blushing, Nina mumbled. I was just trying to be thoughtful. Just wait until later, he said, wolfing down his food. I'll show you who's lacking. Her courage suddenly returned. She took a defiant bite of a dumpling. Oh yeah? Bring it on. Let's see if you can make it so I can't go to class tomorrow. That was all the challenge he needed. He finished his meal in record time, then grabbed her hand and pulled her upstairs. Hours later, she lay curled up on his chest like a contented kitten, tracing circles on his abs. Ethan, she whispered, With all the beautiful women around you, will you get tired of me one day? He gave her a playful smack on her rear. You silly girl, don't you know how I feel about you? It seems your lesson wasn't severe enough. With that, he rolled over, and their passionate entanglement began anew. 2 hours after that, he looked down at her, flushed and breathless in his arms. Don't ever think such foolish things again, he said softly, or I'll have to punish you. She looked up at him, her eyes full of adoration. Ethan, she whispered, I want to have your baby. Can we? His heart skipped a beat. Nina, I want that more than anything, he said, his voice thick with emotion. But you haven't graduated yet. After you graduate, we'll have as many children as you want. They linked their pinkies, making a solemn promise. Then, a mischievous glint appeared in her eyes. You know, she purred, I can still go to class tomorrow. Your mission isn't complete yet. Before he could react, she climbed on top of him. This time, she whispered, her cheeks flushed, I want to be in control. Their lovemaking continued until dawn. She was fast asleep, utterly exhausted, when he gently kissed her forehead and slipped out of bed. After a long, hot shower, he entered the system space and teleported to his room at his family's villa in Tianjin. It was still early, so he rested for a while. Around 7, he went downstairs and found his parents eating breakfast. When did you get home? His mother asked. Late last night, he said, grabbing a fried dough stick. I have some business to take care of, and then I have to go to Shandong for a bit. You're always so busy, his father complained. It's been so quiet since Elaine left for Shanghai. Oh, stop it, his mother chided. You're the one who spends all day at your nursery. Let the boy live his life. She placed a dumpling in Ethan's bowl. Eat up. He took a bite. It's delicious, Mom. Nothing's happened since I've been gone, right? Nothing much, she said with a sigh. Just that Fiona and Jason were sentenced. He could hear the lingering sadness in her voice. He quickly finished his breakfast. Well, I have to go. I'll come back and see you both when I have some free time. He got into his Aston Martin 1-77 and sped off towards Star Pharma, texting Owen Yi to meet him there. Arriving at Star Pharma 20 minutes later, Ethan saw that Owen hadn't arrived yet. He decided to have a chat with the system. System, can you recommend some items that can prolong life and improve the constitution of ordinary people? The system responded instantly. For ordinary people, I recommend spirit tea and spirit wine. Each can be redeemed for 1 point per 10 kilograms. The price was excellent. He redeemed 100 kilograms of each and stored them in the system space. The packaging was also impressive. The tea came in beautiful jade boxes, and the wine in antique-style gourds. He got out of his car and walked over to the security guard's booth. The old guard, whose name was Zhang, remembered him from his last visit and hurried to open the gate. Boss, you're here. I'm just waiting for someone, Zhang, Ethan said with a smile. By the way, did you get the news about the bonus I authorized for all the employees? Yes, sir, the old man said, beaming. Manager Mu told us yesterday. Everyone is thrilled. The morale here is higher than it's ever been. Good, Ethan said. You were the first person I met at this factory. If you ever see anything unusual, please report it to me or the new security team. Just then, Owen pulled up. Ethan said goodbye to the guard and walked with Owen towards the office building. Why the sudden visit? Owen asked. A few days ago, I gave the factory a few new drug formulas, Ethan explained. Yesterday, Manager Mu told me they've been successfully developed. The Drug Administration is coming to inspect the factory today, and I figured the company's president should be here. Inside, Manager Mu greeted them enthusiastically and led them to his office. Are we ready for the inspection? Ethan asked. Everything is in order, Chairman, Mu said confidently. The finished products and all the relevant data are prepared. We've already begun a small clinical trial with 30 patients at East Lake Hospital, and the initial results are extremely promising. What about the accommodations for the inspectors? Owen asked. Well, we have the technicians' dormitory and the cafeteria. Mu said uncertainly. Ethan considered it. Director Zhong was coming, which meant the inspectors would be high-ranking officials. The factory dorms wouldn't do. Don't worry about it, Manager Mu. I'll handle the arrangements, he said. Owen, let's put them up at Quinn's hotel. Good idea, Owen agreed. Quinn's in the US right now, but I can go over and make the arrangements. No need, Ethan said. I'll just call Ken-chun. By the way, why did Quinn go to the US? He missed his wife and kids, Owen said with a smile. And with you around, there hasn't been much for him to do here. You keep him in front of his wife, and it probably spurred him on. Speaking of which, when are you and your wife going to have a baby? Give my little Nini a playmate. Actually, I don't think you even know her full name. We're just letting nature take its course, Owen said. And Nini's full name is Yi Mayer. Just then, Ethan's phone rang. It was Director Zhong. We're about 10 minutes out, the director said. There are 9 of us in total, including me. I had to pull a lot of strings to get all these people here, so you'd better treat us well. Don't you worry, Director, Ethan said with a laugh. I have some very special wine prepared for after we're done with business. 10 minutes later, a minibus pulled up to the factory gate. Director Zhong got out, followed by 8 serious-looking officials. Ethan greeted him warmly. Ethan, I brought the experts, Zhong said with a grin. Now the rest is up to you. Let me introduce you. This is the Director of the Drug Administration, Dr. Dongyang Qi. After exchanging pleasantries, Zhong introduced the next man. And this esteemed gentleman is the leading authority in traditional Chinese medicine in our country, Dr. Alistair Qi. Ethan recognized the name. This was the man who had healed Spencer Han's arm. He greeted the legendary doctor with deep respect. It is an honor, Dr. Qi. I never imagined someone of your stature would grace us with your presence. The pleasure is all mine, Mr. Yi, the old doctor said with a kind smile. I am very interested to see these new drugs of yours. After a brief tour of the factory, during which Dr. Dongyang Qi expressed his admiration for the state-of-the-art equipment, Dr. Alistair Qi made a request. If it's not too much trouble, I would like to review the data and the clinical trial reports for the 3 new drugs. Of course, Dr. Qi, Manager Mu said eagerly. We have everything prepared in the conference room. While the other officials went to the laboratory, the Qi family, Director Zhong, and Ethan's group went to the conference room. Dr. Qi immediately began to pore over the mountains of documents. Ethan took a box of spirit tea from the system space and had a secretary brew a pot. Director Zhong, who had no interest in the medical data, picked up a cup. The moment the fragrant steam hit his nose, his eyes widened in surprise. He took a sip, and a look of pure bliss spread across his face. He closed his eyes, savoring the rich, complex flavor. When he opened them again, he snatched the jade box of tea from the table and stuffed it into his coat. Dr. Dongyang Qi, who had been engrossed in his reading, looked up and frowned. Zhong, you're an old man now. Don't you think you're a bit too old to be stealing people's tea? Director Zhong forced a smile. Ethan and I are close. What's a box of tea between friends? But Dr. Dongyang Qi was suspicious. He picked up his own cup and took a sip. A delicate fragrance filled his senses, followed by a faint surge of spiritual energy through his body. It was weak, but it was undeniably real. His eyes widened. He stared at Zhong and held out his hand. Now Zhong, that's not fair. Sharing is caring. You can't keep that all to yourself. Give me some of that tea. Zhong clutched the box to his chest defensively. No way. It's in my pocket. It's mine. You're not getting a single leaf. As Ethan watched the 2 senior officials bicker like children, Dr. Alistair Qi's voice cut through the room. Mr. Yi, I have a bold request. Would it be possible for me to see the original formulas for these 3 medicines? Ethan considered it. Dr. Qi's reputation was impeccable. He would never steal a formula. Besides, no one would dare. He turned to Manager Mu. Please bring Dr. Qi the original formulas. Soon after, the documents were placed before Dr. Alistair Qi. As the old man read, his expression shifted from curiosity to shock, and finally, to pure reverence. A divine stroke of genius, he exclaimed, his voice trembling with excitement. The way these ingredients are balanced. It's breathtaking. The ocean of traditional medicine is truly boundless, and I have been but a fool staring at the sky from the bottom of a well. Ha ha. His granddaughter, Genevieve, had never seen him so emotional. Grandfather, she whispered, can these drugs really provide a complete cure? I would stake my entire life's reputation on it, he declared. These 3 medicines are an unprecedented breakthrough. Dongyang, you must expedite the approval process. These cures need to reach the people of our country as soon as possible. Dr. Dongyang Qi nodded solemnly. I understand, father. I will give it my full support. The old doctor then turned back to Ethan, a hint of concern in his eyes. Mr. Yi, I noticed some of the ingredients in these formulas are quite rare and precious. How do you plan to price these drugs? Ethan smiled calmly. Dr. Qi, I have considered it carefully. My intended price for each drug is 100,000 yuan. The old man's brow furrowed. Mr. Yi, I know the value of these medicines, and that price is more than fair. But for the vast majority of ordinary people in our country, it's an impossible sum. I implore you, could you consider lowering it, so that more people can benefit? He's right, Ethan, Director Zhong chimed in. Most of our citizens simply can't afford that. Ethan, however, remained firm. Dr. Qi, Director Zhong, I will not change the price. Please don't press the issue. A look of resignation passed between the men. Very well, Mr. Yi, said Dr. Qi with a heavy sigh. It is your decision to make. Perhaps we were being greedy. Just bringing these drugs into the world is a monumental achievement. Then, Owen, who had been quiet until now, spoke up with a knowing smile. Ethan, I know you. You've never cared much for money. Tell them what you're really planning. Ethan gave a helpless shrug. You couldn't let me have my moment, could you, Owen? He then turned back to the others. Gentlemen, the price I quoted is for the international market. When we export these drugs, the price will be 200,000. For our own citizens, however, I plan to have my charitable foundation offer a 99% subsidy on every purchase. Furthermore, for our country's veterans and their immediate families, the medicine will be completely free. And of course, for families in extreme poverty, after a review by the foundation, they will also receive it for free. Rest assured, I am a citizen of this country. I would never be so heartless to my own people. The room erupted in relieved smiles. Director Zhong and the others praised Ethan for his generosity. This isn't about fame or profit, Ethan continued. It's about saving as many of our people as I can. After all, life is priceless. Dr. Alistair Chi was deeply moved. Mr. Yi, this is a truly noble act. These medicines will be a blessing to countless people. He then bowed deeply to Ethan. Ethan quickly helped him up. Please, Dr. Chi, you honor me too much. As the old saying goes, when you are poor, you improve yourself. When you are wealthy, you improve the world. I am only doing what I should. Dr. Chi's face glowed with approval. Mr. Yi, I may not have much to offer, but my knowledge of traditional medicine is at your disposal. If you ever need my help, I will do everything in my power. Well then, Dr. Chi, gentlemen, Ethan said with a grin. It seems to be lunchtime. Shall we continue this conversation over a meal? It's your treat this time, Ethan, Director Zhong joked. And if the hospitality is lacking, you'll have me to answer to. Don't you worry, Director, Ethan replied confidently. Did you forget I mentioned I have some fine wine? It has the same miraculous properties as the tea. Now let's not delay. The group departed for the East Lake Hotel. The manager, Qin Shun, was already waiting for them at the entrance. He led them to the private Spring Blossom Hall, where a lavish banquet was already laid out. As everyone took their seats, Ethan discreetly retrieved 4 gourds of spirit wine from the system space. He handed one to Director Zhong. Try this, Director. It's not only delicious, but it also prolongs life and strengthens the body. Dr. Alistair Chi, who normally didn't drink, was intrigued. Haha. Today I shall make an exception and see if this wine is as magical as Mr. Yi claims. Manager Mu quickly poured a cup for the old doctor. Dr. Chi took a small sip, and his calm eyes widened in an instant. He then downed the entire cup in one go, closing his eyes to savor the feeling of spiritual energy and vitality coursing through him. When he opened them, his face was flushed with excitement. He snatched the wine gourd from Mu's hand. Haha, this gourd of wine is mine today. None of you are allowed to touch it. His son, Dr. Dongyang Chi, looked on in disbelief. Father, at least let me have a taste. Get your own from Zhong, the old man grumbled, clutching the gourd protectively. Seeing this, Ethan placed the remaining 2 gourds on the table. Dr. Chi, there's more right here. Please, take one and enjoy it. By now, Director Zhong had also tasted the wine, and his eyes were gleaming. Ethan, how much more of this do you have? Can you get me a few more bottles? Ethan was puzzled. Director, this wine is beneficial for ordinary people, but for a martial artist of your level, the effects are minimal. What do you need it for? Zhong leaned in close. Ethan, I know this might sound like I'm pressuring you, but I sincerely hope you can give me more of this life-extending wine. It's because our country has lost so many of its greatest scientific minds, brilliant men and women who gave up comfortable lives abroad to return and build our nation from nothing. The ones who are still with us. Their time is running out. Ethan was silent for a long moment. He understood completely. He remembered the national outpouring of grief years ago when one of the country's most beloved agricultural scientists had passed away. Even then, he had used his meager student allowance to have a bouquet of rice stalks delivered in tribute. Now, he had the power to do so much more. He gestured for Zhong to follow him out of the room. In an empty private suite next door, Ethan waved his arm. Instantly, the room was filled with jade boxes of spirit tea and gourds of spirit wine, 1,000 kilograms of each. Director Zhong, Ethan said sincerely, please accept this as a small token of my respect. Distribute it to our nation's senior scientists. If you need more in the future, all you have to do is ask. Director Zhong was overwhelmed with emotion. Ethan, on their behalf, I thank you. I promise, every last bit of this will reach them. They returned to the banquet hall. After sharing a few more toasts, Ethan excused himself, explaining he had to leave. In the parking lot, he stored his car in the system space, found a secluded spot, and summoned his flying sword. He leaped onto it and shot off like a lightning bolt toward Shandong province. Half an hour later, he landed in the city of Zibo. He retrieved his Aston Martin and drove to Chris Cheng's family home. The place was a hive of activity. People were setting up canopies for the banquet, hanging colorful ribbons and lanterns. Chris's cousins were building the main stage. At the front gate, Wayne Wong and Dylan Yang were carefully pasting large, red paper cutouts of the character for double happiness on the doors. A little to the right, Dylan said, eyeing Wayne's handiwork. Wayne made the adjustment. I can't believe Ethan isn't here yet, he grumbled. I saved some work for him to do. Speak of the devil, Dylan said with a laugh, just as Wayne turned around. Sure enough, Ethan was standing right there. Wayne strode over and gave him a playful punch on the chest. We were just talking about you. Tomorrow's the big day, Ethan said, grinning. Of course I had to get here early to help. What needs to be done? He started rolling up his sleeves. Don't listen to him, Dylan said, waving a hand. Everything's pretty much handled by Chris's family. Come on, let's go find the groom. They found Chris in the middle of the courtyard, directing the flurry of activity. Thanks for coming, guys, he said, a grateful smile on his face. Just having you here is enough. So how does it feel, man? Wayne asked, clapping him on the back. You're about to be a married man. Yeah, Ethan chimed in with a wicked grin. Don't wear yourself out tonight, or you might not be able to get out of bed tomorrow. Chris's face turned bright red. Get lost. That sounds more like something Wayne would do. Dylan, ever the responsible one, got down to business. What time are you picking up the bride tomorrow? Are the cars all arranged? Her house is close, so we're leaving around 8, Chris replied. As for cars, Ethan's G-Wagon is more than enough. We don't need a big procession since it's such a short distance. I disagree, Dylan said, shaking his head. We can't let your new sister-in-law feel slighted, especially after everything that's happened. We need to find a few more nice cars. Dylan's right, Ethan agreed. You didn't think this through. Chris scratched his head. You're right, but it's too late to find cars now. Let me go talk to my dad. Don't worry about it, Wayne said, stopping him. We'll handle it. Let's split up and call some rental companies. No need for that, Ethan said with a smile. The car I drove here can be the lead car. And I happen to have a buddy who's in Zibo right now. I'll ask him to help us out. The cars might not be top of the line, though, so don't get your hopes up. Chris clapped him on the shoulder. You're a lifesaver, man. That's more than enough. Ethan immediately pulled out his phone and dialed Peter Zhao. Ethan, are you in Zibo? Peter answered excitedly. I'm dying of boredom over here. Peter, I need a favor, Ethan said. Can you arrange a few cars for me? I need them for a wedding procession tomorrow. There was a brief silence. Then Peter's voice came back, full of mock complaint. You're getting married and you're just telling me now? That's cold, man. Where are you, Tianjin or Shanghai? I'll book a flight right now. Ethan sighed. Why are you and my sister on the same weird wavelength? It's for my friend's wedding, here in Zibo. Can you arrange the cars or not? Oh, sorry, man, my mistake, Peter said, chuckling. Yeah, of course. Just send me the time and location. I'll get it all sorted out. Hey, can I come too? I love a good wedding feast. Of course, Ethan laughed. I'll text you the details. Just don't flake on me. After hanging up, he turned to his friends. It's handled. Wayne's eyes lit up. You've got connections everywhere, don't you? Let me see the keys. What kind of car did you bring? Ethan tossed him the keys. It's parked at the intersection up ahead. Wayne grabbed Chris, and they went off to check out the car, leaving Ethan alone with Dylan, who offered him a cigarette. So, Dylan, Ethan began. Your big day is less than a month away. How are the preparations going? Dylan took a long drag from his cigarette and sighed. I thought everything was ready, but it looks like there's been a change of plans. Ethan's heart sank. He knew Dylan's marriage was arranged. What happened, he asked. Originally, the Hu family and my family were on equal footing, so the marriage made sense, Dylan explained, his voice heavy. But recently, the Hu family managed to form a connection with the Mu family from the Northeast. Now they're planning to marry Lingling off to someone from the Mu family instead. Ethan didn't know much about the prominent families in the Northeast, only that Dylan's family was considered second tier there. What does Lingling think about all this? Ethan asked. And listen, if you need anything from me, don't hesitate to ask. Money, muscle, whatever you need, just say the word. A faint, forced smile touched Dylan's lips. I appreciate it, Ethan. If it comes to that, I'll let you know. Come on, let's go check out your new car. As Dylan walked away, Ethan knew there was more to the story. He discreetly sent a text to Mu Chongqing of the 9th Bureau, asking him to investigate the situation between the Mu, Hu, and Yang families. Back at the 9th Bureau headquarters, Mu Chongqing sighed when he saw the message. Does Master Yi think I'm his personal complaint department? He muttered to himself. But he immediately contacted the Northeast branch and ordered them to look into it. A few minutes later, Wayne saw Ethan approaching. Man, you have so many luxury cars. When are you going to get one for me? I'm a vice president now, you know. No problem, Ethan said with a smile. Pick out any car you want, the company will pay for it. On one condition, you have to go back to the Northeast. I'm planning to start a trading company there, and I want you to be in charge. Wayne looked surprised. To do business in the Northeast, you need connections in Russia. Otherwise, it's a tough market. And are you sure I'm ready to be in charge? I haven't been training under Hudson for that long. If you want to give it a shot, the opportunity is yours, Ethan said. If not, I'll find someone else. It's a great chance, Wayne. How does an annual salary of 20 million yuan sound? Wayne's eyes nearly popped out of his head. Well, since you put it so nicely, I guess I'll have to accept, he said, puffing out his chest. From now on, please refer to me as President Wang. He then turned to Dylan. When I get to the Northeast, you'd better look out for me. But Dylan was lost in thought and didn't respond. Wayne looked at Ethan, confused. What's with him? Something seems off. Something's going on with his family, Ethan whispered. After the wedding, go back to the Northeast with him. Keep an eye on things and let me know what you find out. Wayne nodded seriously. You can count on me. Just then, Dylan seemed to snap out of his daze. What are you two whispering about? He asked. Nothing, Wayne said quickly. Dylan just frowned and drifted back into his own thoughts. Just then, a young boy with a round, cheerful face ran up to them, panting. Brother Chris, he called out. Uncle told me to come and get you and your friends for dinner. Chris smiled and ruffled the boy's hair. Okay, Tao. Thanks for letting us know. We'll be right there. He then turned to his friends. Come on, let's grab a bite. You guys can have a few drinks, but I have to stay sober tonight. Wayne winked at him. Oh, we get it, he said with a suggestive laugh, and everyone joined in. The four of them walked over to a large canopy that had been set up nearby. Chris seated them at a table with a group of his childhood friends before excusing himself. Soon, the table was laden with food, and the conversation flowed easily. Wayne, in his element, had everyone roaring with laughter. Just as they were getting started, one of Chris's friends, a sturdy man named Sean Chung, addressed them. Brothers, we all have to help out tomorrow, so let's take it easy tonight. Just one bottle of baijiu each, to start. He then produced 3 bottles of the strong liquor and placed one in front of each of them. Wayne's smile froze. 1 bottle of baijiu each was taking it easy. He'd heard that people from Shandong could drink, but this was on another level. He exchanged a panicked look with Ethan, then squared his shoulders and opened his bottle. Dylan, he said, pouring a full glass. We men from the Northeast are known for our drinking. We can't let them show us up. It's all on you to defend our honor tonight. Dylan just rolled his eyes. You lightweight, he said, before raising his glass to the others. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for your hospitality. To new friends. Sean boomed, and everyone drained their glasses. He immediately refilled his. When you meet a true friend, 1,000 cups of wine are not enough. To the 3 of you. And he downed the second glass as if it were water. Ethan and the others followed suit. As Sean reached for a third glass, Wayne quickly stood up. Brother Sean, that's 2 glasses in 5 minutes. My capacity is a bit limited. Could I have some food first? Sean laughed, a little embarrassed. My mistake. Everyone, please eat. Half an hour later, all 3 bottles were empty. Ethan looked completely unfazed. Dylan was a bit flushed, but still coherent. Wayne, however, was passed out cold on the table. Sean shook his head with a grin. Wayne can't really hold his liquor, can he? He never could, Ethan said with a laugh. He looked at Sean with newfound respect. Brother Sean, you're an incredible drinker. If you really let loose, how much can you put away? Sean looked a little proud. I've never really tested my limits, but the most I've ever had in one sitting is 5 bottles. Ethan's mind started racing. This man was a public relations genius in the making. He would be a huge asset to the new trading company. He could already picture Sean drinking the Russian businessman, Petrov, under the table. What do you do for a living, Brother Sean? He asked. Sean sighed. I don't really have a steady job. Just odd jobs here and there when I'm not busy with farm work. I'm not smart like Chris, who got into a good university and found a stable job right after graduation. Ethan looked at the man. From the way he spoke, he was clearly not uneducated. Brother Sean, he asked, genuinely curious. You seem intelligent and well-spoken. Did you really not get into a university? Sean Chung was quiet for a moment before answering. I took the college entrance exams, but I didn't pass. My family didn't have much money, so I decided to give up on school and start working to help out. But the real world is tough. Without a degree, it's hard to get anywhere. Ethan knew how brutal the exams were in provinces like theirs, far more competitive than where he was from. He sighed. In that case, I have a proposal for you. I'm starting a trading company in the Northeast. If you're interested, I'd like to offer you the position of PR manager. A flicker of hope appeared in Sean's eyes, but it quickly faded. I don't have a degree, and all I'm good at is drinking. I don't think I'd be much help to you. Your ability to drink is exactly what will help me, Ethan said with a smile. And you can learn the rest. You can't just work odd jobs for the rest of your life. Sean fell silent again. After a long pause, he said, I need to talk it over with my parents and my wife. I'll give you an answer tomorrow. Just then, Chris returned. When he saw Wayne passed out on the table, he was bewildered. How long has it been? How is he already asleep? Dylan just laughed. Sean is a very persuasive host. If he hadn't taken it easy on us, I'd probably be under the table too. Chris suggested they move Wayne to his room, but Dylan quickly vetoed it, saying it was bad luck for someone else to sleep in the wedding room. He can stay at my place, Sean offered. My wife and I can sleep at my parents' house for the night. I hope you don't mind a heated brick bed. It was a short walk to Sean's house. After settling Wayne in, Ethan went out to the courtyard. Dylan was sitting on a small stool, smoking in the dark. A moment later, Ethan's phone buzzed. It was a file from Mu Chongqing. As he read, his brow furrowed. The Hu family was breaking off the engagement because they wanted to align with the more powerful Mu family. But the Mu family had no interest in the alliance. It was all the Hu family's wishful thinking. And worse, the file stated that it was Lingling Hu herself who had initiated the idea. To complicate matters further, the Mu family's youngest daughter, Mu Yao, was apparently in love with Dylan and had fought with her grandfather about it. Ethan knew he had to talk to Dylan. He pulled up a stool next to him and held out 2 fingers. Dylan wordlessly passed him a cigarette and a lighter. Ethan took a long drag. Tell me the truth, Dylan. How do you really feel about Lingling Hu? Dylan stamped out his cigarette, but with his foot. Honestly, I don't know. It was all arranged by our families. But since she came back from abroad, she's been like a different person. Still polite, but distant. And now this. It's like I don't know her at all. I know you're hurting, Ethan said, clapping him on the shoulder. But what if I told you that breaking off the engagement was her idea? Dylan's head snapped up, his eyes wide with disbelief. Where did you hear that? That's impossible. My sources are reliable, Ethan said grimly. The color drained from Dylan's face. But, what? I don't know, Ethan said. The important thing is, what are you going to do now? Dylan was silent for a long time. Finally, he took a deep breath. I need to think. Ethan stood up. When you've made your decision, let me know. If you want to destroy the Hu family, I'll help you. With that, he went back inside the house. Meanwhile, Sean Cheng's family was gathered around their dinner table, discussing Ethan's offer. Are you sure about this, Sean? His mother asked doubtfully. He's just one of Chris's friends, a recent graduate. How could he possibly own a trading company? Maybe he was just drunk and talking nonsense. Your mother's right, his father added. It doesn't sound very reliable. His wife, Xiaoji Chun, could see the longing in her husband's eyes. Mom, Dad, she said gently, why don't I go ask Chris about it? If this friend of his is legitimate, I think Sean should take the chance. He can't work odd jobs forever. At Chris's house, Xiaoji pulled the groom aside. Is this job offer from your friend Ethan for real? She asked quietly. Chris beamed at her. It's a great opportunity, Xiaoji. Ethan's company is incredibly successful. Of course it's real. Don't worry. Relieved, she hurried home with the good news. Well then, son, his father said. If that's the case, you have our full support. The next morning, around 7, Ethan's phone rang. It was Peter Zhao. I'm here, right next to your Aston Martin. Where are you? A few minutes later, Ethan, Dylan, and a very hungover Wayne met him at the intersection. Sorry for the short notice, Peter said. I only managed to get 10 cars. 1 Rolls-Royce Phantom and 9 Mercedes S600s. If I'd had more time, I would have gotten all Phantoms. He then introduced his cousin, Xinghue Zhao, who had helped procure the fleet. Wayne stared at the line of gleaming luxury cars. Wow, that's quite a lineup. Just then, Chris arrived, looking sharp in a tailored suit and holding a bouquet of flowers. Looking good, man, Ethan said with a grin. The cars are ready. You driving, or are you being driven? Peter snorted with laughter. You call the groom man? He's my brother, Chris, Ethan said, rolling his eyes. After a quick round of introductions, the wedding procession set off for the bride's house. At Serena Gia's home, things were just as festive, though her mother and sister-in-law were busy giving her last-minute advice. As Serena Jia listened to her mother's advice, her aunt, Hohat Jia, piped up with a sour tone. Why are they having the wedding here in the village? All the young people these days buy an apartment in town for the wedding. The Chung family has no class. Serena's mother's face darkened, but she held her tongue. She knew her sister-in-law was a jealous woman who couldn't stand to see others happy. Auntie, Serena said politely. Chris was going to buy a place in town, but I told him not to. His family has a perfectly good house. Why waste the money? Don't make excuses for them, the aunt sneered. I know what their situation is. It's obvious you had to get married because you let him take advantage of you. Shut your mouth. Serena's mother finally snapped. You don't know anything. The town officials came and cleared up those rumors. Chris is a good boy, and his family is wonderful to Serena. We don't care about a house, as long as our daughter is happy. At that moment, Serena's father, Mr. Jia, walked in, his face grim. It's Serena's wedding day. That's enough, he said, then turned to his sister. That you, of all people, would spread these rumors is shameful. I won't deal with you today, but if I hear one more ugly word from your mouth, don't expect me to remember we're family. Just then, the sound of firecrackers erupted outside. The procession had arrived. The men found the front door barred by a group of giggling children. Red envelopes first, brother-in-law, they chanted. Chris smiled and slipped 9 red envelopes through a crack in the door. As the main door swung open, a 3-year-old boy, Serena's nephew, latched onto Chris's leg, pouting. They didn't share with me. Chris knelt and gave the boy his own, much larger, red envelope. Inside, Chris scooped his bride up in his arms. From today on, you're my wife, he whispered. He then turned to her parents. Dad, Mom, please take the car. You two go ahead, mister. Jia said. It's not far, we can walk. But the aunt couldn't resist another jab. Did your wonderful son-in-law only bring 1 car? The bride's family has to walk to the groom's house. How embarrassing. Ethan had had enough. He stepped forward. Mr. Jia, please don't refuse. We have more than enough cars for everyone. What this lady says might be unpleasant, but she has a point. You shouldn't have to walk. Mr. Jia relented. Outside, Ethan opened the door to his Aston Martin 1-77. Chris gently placed Serena in the passenger seat. Ethan then handed Chris the keys. You should be the one to drive your own wife home, he said with a wink. We'll walk. The aunt, Hohat Jia, peered at the Aston Martin. She had never seen anything like it. What is this piece of junk, she scoffed. It only has 2 seats. It must be some cheap, no-name brand. Peter Zhao, who was leaning against the Phantom and smoking, burst out laughing. Lady, that piece of junk is worth more than 100 of your lives, and you call it a no-name brand? Have you ever even seen a luxury car? Of course I have, she retorted indignantly. My son has a Mercedes. As if on cue, A Mercedes C200 pulled up, and a young man got out. "Mom, what's going on? Why are there so many fancy cars here for the wedding?" "Son," she said, "take a look at that two-seater junker. Isn't it a cheap knockoff? This punk here says I don't know a good car when I see one." The son, Xiangdong Lu, peered at the car. He could tell it was a supercar, but he didn't recognize the brand. He pulled out his phone and did a quick search. His eyes went wide. "Mom," he said, his voice trembling. "That's an Aston Martin 1-77. There are only 5 in the whole country. It costs 50 million yuan. The aunt was speechless. By the time she recovered, the wedding procession was already gone. After a short celebratory drive around the area, Chris returned home to a barrage of firecrackers. He carried Serena into the wedding room. Meanwhile, Ethan, Dylan, and Wayne went to the gift table to drop off their red envelopes. The aunt, who had been watching them, sidled up to the old man recording the gifts. "How much did his 3 friends give?" she asked with a fake smile. 1,000 yuan, the old man said coolly. The aunt's face fell. Only 1,000? For all their flash, they were just as cheap as everyone else. What a bunch of phonies. At 10:08 a.m. sharp, the ceremony began. Chris and Serena stood on the stage, radiant and in love. After the master of ceremonies told their story, it was time for the tea ceremony to honor their parents. Chris knelt before Serena's father, holding a cup of tea. "Dad, please drink this tea," he said. But before Mr. Ja could take it, Ethan, Dylan, and Wayne suddenly appeared beside Chris, each holding their own cup of tea. They all took a sip, then stuffed red envelopes into Chris's hands. "You'll have to speak louder than that, Chris," Wayne teased. Then, as quickly as they had appeared, they were gone, leaving Chris blushing, and the entire audience roaring with laughter. The rest of the ceremony proceeded without a hitch. After the ceremony, the banquet began. Sean Chung approached their table carrying a case of 6 bottles of baijiu. "Now that the wedding is done," he announced with a grin, "we can finally drink for real." Wayne Wong visibly wilted. "Brother Sean," he whimpered, "I'll have a little, but I'm still recovering from last night." Peter Zhao, who had missed the previous night's festivities, was skeptical. "How much can he actually drink?" he asked. "Brother Sean could drink 4 or 5 of you under the table without breaking a sweat," Ethan said. "No way," Peter scoffed. "I can hold my own. I seriously doubt he could drink 5 whole bottles of this stuff." "Then let him show you," Ethan said, laughing. 10 minutes later, Sean had finished his first bottle. He then calmly opened another. Peter stared, his mouth agape. He had only managed to drink half of his first glass of the 56 proof liquor, and Sean had finished an entire bottle like it was water. "Brother Sean," Peter said, his voice full of awe, "I am truly humbled. I've seen so-called drinking gods in movies, but they are nothing compared to you. I surrender." At that moment, his wife, Xiaoji, gave Sean a gentle kick under the table, reminding him to talk to Ethan about the job. "Peter, drinking is the only thing I'm good at," Sean said modestly. He then turned to Ethan, his expression serious. "Ethan, I talked it over with my family last night. I'd like to accept your offer to join your company. I just have one request. Can I bring my wife with me?" Ethan was thrilled. "Of course you can bring her. We'll find a suitable position for her at the company once it's established." Sean was overcome with gratitude. He raised his glass. "I don't have the words to thank you, Ethan. Let me toast you instead. My wife doesn't have many skills. She can just help with the cleaning." After they downed their drinks, Ethan replied, "Brother Sean, you're being too modest. Don't worry, we'll find something for her. You and your wife can head to the northeast with Wayne in a few days." At this, Xiaoji spoke up timidly. "Ethan, I was just wondering, what will the salary be?" Sean shot his wife a glare, but Ethan realized he'd forgotten to mention the most important part. "I'm so sorry, I completely forgot," he said apologetically. "I was planning to offer you a base salary of 500,000 yuan per year, plus bonuses based on the company's performance. Is that acceptable?" Xiaoji's jaw dropped. Sean had been making, at most, 70,000 a year. This was life-changing. She immediately filled her glass and pulled her husband to his feet. "Ethan, I don't know how to thank you. Let us toast you together." After the toast, Wayne was ecstatic. "With Brother Sean on our team, I'm not afraid of any of those Russians. He can drink them all under the table by himself." His celebration was cut short when he saw Sean refilling his glass and looking pointedly at him. Wayne threw his hands up in surrender. "Brother Sean, we're on the same team now. Please, have mercy. I can't drink anymore. I give up." He then tied a napkin to a chopstick and waved it like a white flag, sending the whole table into gales of laughter. The joyous time passed in a blur, and once again, Wayne Wong was passed out drunk. After helping carry him back to Sean Cheng's house, where Dylan Yang would also stay the night, Ethan said his goodbyes to Chris. He then walked with Peter Zhao and his cousin, Xinghui, back to his car. With a casual wave of his hand, the Aston Martin 1-77 vanished into thin air. Peter, who had been sobering up, was suddenly wide awake. "Ethan, was that a magic trick? The car. It just disappeared." He turned to his cousin. "Xinghui, you're sober, you saw that, right? Tell me what happened. Ethan didn't answer. Instead, he pulled a small pouch and a bottle of spirit-condensing pills from his system space. He handed the pills to Xinghui. Xinghui, thanks for all your help with the cars today. Take these. They should be a great help to your cultivation. Xinghui accepted the valuable pills with gratitude. Thank you, Ethan. I'll make good use of them. Ethan then tossed the pouch to Peter. It's a storage bag. It'll make carrying things around more convenient. Peter fumbled with the bag excitedly, showing it off to his cousin. See this, Xinghui? A storage bag. Aren't you jealous? So how does it work? Is it like in the novels, where I have to do a blood bond? Xinghui just shook his head, exasperated. Peter, you read too many novels. You should ask Ethan. Ethan laughed. No blood required. Just focus your spiritual energy on an item and will it into the bag. It's that simple. Peter tried it, successfully stowing a few small items. He was ecstatic. Xinghui asked how big the bag was. About half a football field, Peter said, a grin spreading across his face. Do you think I could use this to pick up girls? You know, as a magic trick? Ethan just shook his head, amused by the idea. Do whatever you want with it. For now, let's go pay our respects to your grandfather, Elder Zhao. With Xinghui driving, they soon arrived at the Zhao family villa. Peter led Ethan into the living room, where an old man was sipping tea. Grandpa, I brought Ethan to see you, Peter announced. Elder Zhao put down his cup and studied Ethan with appreciative eyes. So you are Ethan, a true hero of the younger generation. After some pleasantries, Ethan got to the point. Elder Zhao, as a fellow martial artist, I won't beat around the bush. Peter mentioned hearing a rumor that the peak of Kunlun Mountain holds countless treasures and secret manuals. You and I both know that's the entrance to the spirit world. I feel there's a conspiracy afoot. Do you know anything about this? The old man's expression turned serious. I have heard these whispers as well. We've tried to trace the source, but with no luck. All we can do for now is remain vigilant. Ethan agreed. He then placed a bottle of longevity pills and 2 containers each of spirit tea and spirit wine on the table. A small gift, Elder Zhao. Please accept it. The old man, a connoisseur of tea and wine, opened the jade box of tea. When the fresh aroma and faint trace of spiritual energy hit his senses, his eyes lit up. Ethan, he said with a hearty laugh, this is a gift after my own heart. Knowing that anything from Ethan was extraordinary, Peter asked, what's in that bottle? Is it one of those marrow-cleansing pills you gave me before? It's a longevity pill, Ethan replied. It can extend one's life by 5 years. And no, you can't have it. You don't need it yet. Peter then switched tactics, smiling sweetly. That tea and wine must be special too, right? Can I have some? With a sigh, Ethan produced 2 more containers of each and handed them over. Give half to Xinghui. It will help with his cultivation. Ethan then bid farewell to Elder Zhao. The old man tried to persuade him to stay, but Ethan explained he was heading to the city of Qingdao to visit his cousin. Elder Zhao insisted that Peter and Xinghui accompany him, as the Zhao family had a presence there that could be of help. The 3 of them took the next high-speed train to Qingdao, arriving around 8 p.m. As they exited the station, they were greeted by a sight that turned every head. A fleet of gleaming black Maybachs lined up at the curb. Is a celebrity in town? Someone in the crowd wondered. A man in a sharp suit emerged from the lead car and walked directly to them. Mr. Yi, young Master Peter, young Master Xinghui. The hotel is ready. Shall we go? The man was Lin Yi, the head of the Zhao family's Qingdao branch. He escorted them to the St. Regis Hotel, where they were shown to the presidential suite on the top floor. After Lin Yi left, Peter collapsed onto a sofa. That was a long day. Still, Qingdao is a lot nicer than Zibo. Ethan walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows, looking out at the glittering city lights. He wondered how his cousin, Tina Yi, was doing. He hadn't seen her in a while. The next morning, after breakfast, the trio borrowed a Bentley from the hotel and drove to Qingdao University. The campus was peaceful and fresh after an overnight rain. In her dorm room, Tina Yi was nervously adjusting her makeup in the mirror. She was a senior, and today was the big campus job fair. Her roommate, Gongsun Li, teased her. You've been getting ready for over an hour, Tina. I think you look fine. Almost done, Tina said. Which companies are you applying to? I'm going to try for Zhao Group and Lubo Group, Gongsun Li replied. They're the best companies here today. I'm not sure I have a chance though. Tina nodded. Me too. I'm sure the competition will be fierce. Gongsun Li handed her a carton of milk. Here, have something. The guidance counselor just texted. They moved the job fair to the gymnasium. Let's go as soon as you're done. Brother. Ethan turned at the sound of the familiar voice and saw his cousin, Tina, walking towards him, arm in arm with another girl. Tina, I was just about to call you, Ethan said, smiling. And who's this? This is my roommate and best friend, Gongsun Li, Tina introduced. After polite introductions, Tina asked why he was there. I had some business in the area and thought I'd stop by to see you. Perfect timing. You can come with me to the job fair. Afterwards, I'll treat you to a big meal to thank you. He just laughed. I think I should be the one treating you. Let's go. The group made their way to the gymnasium, which was already buzzing with anxious seniors. Any companies you're set on? Ethan asked. I want to try for Zhao Group and Lubo Group, she said nervously. They have the best benefits and opportunities for growth. I'm just worried I won't get selected. Ethan glanced at Peter, then gave his cousin a reassuring smile. Don't worry. My sister is brilliant. You'll be fine. Let's go have a look. They started at the Lubo Group's booth, which already had a long line. After a 20-minute wait, Tina finally handed her resume to a woman in her 30s with glasses. The woman gave the resume a cursory glance, tossed it onto a pile, and said dismissively, Please move along. Don't hold up the line. We'll contact you if you pass the initial screening. As Tina walked away, she overheard the woman mutter sarcastically, Kids these days. Applying for the president's assistant position? Just because she has a pretty face, she thinks she's the main character in a novel. As if we'd recruit for that position at a place like this. It's just bait to attract attention. Ethan just covered his face with his hand. He knew his cousin, while usually sweet and quiet, had a volcanically explosive temper when provoked. He still remembered when they were kids, and a boy stuck gum in her hair. She had chased the boy all the way home with a brick in her hand until he apologized. He looked at the recruiter with a flicker of pity. You picked the wrong person to mess with. Tina spun on her heel, marched back to the booth, snatched her resume from the pile, and stared the woman down with icy eyes. What is your problem? If you can't say something nice, then shut your mouth. Who do you think you are? You're just a low-level employee working a recruiting booth, and you have the nerve to judge me? Take a look in the mirror. You're flat as a board, have no butt, and a face that could scare children. Even plastic surgery in Korea couldn't save you. To punctuate her statement, Tina spat on the ground at the woman's feet. The recruiter's face turned purple with rage, but she was too stunned to speak. Oh, so you do know how to shut up when you're told, Tina sneered. If you'd done that in the first place, you wouldn't have had to endure my lecture. You really just had to ask for it, didn't you? Nearby, Peter burst out laughing. Ethan, he whispered, I thought your sister Elaine was tough, but now I see all the women in your family are warriors. Ethan's mouth twitched. Go talk to the Zhao Group people, he told Peter. Get her an internship. After she graduates, I'll bring her into Universal Group. Peter gave him a thumbs up and then turned to his cousin. Xinghui, when I go back to the capital, you need to look after Tina. Make sure no one gives her any trouble. Don't worry, Ethan. Peter, Xinghui responded seriously. I'll take care of it. I'll talk to my grandfather and get a nominal position here in Qingdao, so I can be around. Tina, having vented her anger, rejoined the group. Let's go check out Zhao Group, and then we can get some lunch. The line at the Zhao Group booth was even longer than the last one, with at least a 40-minute wait. Tina, Gong Sunli, give me your resumes, Peter said. I know people at Zhao Group. I can submit them for you directly. Tina gratefully handed them over. Peter walked up to the booth, but didn't recognize any of the recruiters. He sighed and pulled out his phone to call Lin Yi. Uncle Lin, I need a small favor. Young Master Peter, whatever you need. Lin Yi's voice came back, instantly serious. Where are you? I can be there right away. No need for that, Peter said. I'm at the Qingdao University job fair. I need you to arrange for 2 people to be hired. Can you have the on-site manager come find me? I'll give him the resumes. Consider it done, Lin Yi replied. A few moments later, a man came rushing up to Peter, bowing respectfully. Young Master Peter, my apologies for the delay. Peter waved him off and handed him the 2 resumes. These 2 need to be hired, and I want you to make sure they are treated with the utmost respect, especially Tina Yi. Do not offend her. Understood, young master. I will see to it personally. Peter returned to the group with a triumphant grin. All taken care of. Now where to? Someplace we can eat and have fun. An idea struck Tina. Let's go to the coast. We can rent a boat, eat fresh seafood, and do some fishing. What do you guys think? Ethan, seeing the excitement in her eyes, readily agreed. Great idea. Let's go. They arrived at the shore, the salty sea breeze whipping through their hair. Ethan, you guys wait here, Peter said. My cousin and I will go rent a yacht. Ethan nodded his approval. As they waited, Gong Sunli leaned over to Tina. Your brother is amazing. And his friends. They're clearly from wealthy families. What does your brother do for a living? Tina was at a loss. She only knew that her brother had somehow become very rich, but she didn't know the details. He's my brother, she said with a shrug, trying to sound casual. No matter how successful he is, he's still the brother who dotes on me. Let's not worry about it, and just enjoy the day. A short while later, Peter and Xinghui returned, looking dejected. Everything's rented out, Peter announced. Apparently there's some big party on Shilin Island, about 15 nautical miles from here. Tina's face fell. Looks like we can't go out on the water today. Why did they have to have a party right now? Ethan wasn't bothered, but he felt bad for his cousin. He decided to consult the system. System, can you recommend a yacht or some other kind of boat? A tinny, grumpy voice echoed in his mind. So, the host finally remembers I exist. I was beginning to feel completely useless. Ethan felt a pang of guilt. Hey, it's not my fault. Your functions are too limited. No daily check-ins, no missions. And I'm a pretty laid-back guy, so naturally, you fade into the background. You should look at your own shortcomings. The system was silent for a moment, then announced stiffly, Host, the system will now undergo a mandatory upgrade. Estimated completion time, 48 hours. Ethan panicked. Whoa, big guy, hold on, I was just kidding. It's all my fault, okay? But even if you're upgrading, you have to get me a boat first. The system's voice crackled with rage. How dare you speak to me like that? Fine, I'll get you your stupid boat. But if you delay my upgrade any further, I swear I'll self-destruct and take you with me. The nerve of some people, bullying a system. Ethan's face fell. It seemed his lazy days were over. He hadn't realized the system was so sensitive. Seeing his expression, Tina tried to comfort him. It's okay, brother. We can just go back. Going out on the water isn't that fun anyway. He quickly composed himself. Don't worry, I've already arranged for a boat. It should be here any minute. He prayed silently that the boat would arrive soon, or he would lose all credibility in front of his little sister.